Buzz Live. Buzz, 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 buzz. It's Blake's Buzz Live. Buzz, 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 buzz. It's Blake's Buzz Live. More, hate less, read comics. It's Blake's Buzz Live.
Buzz, buzz, babies.
Buzz, buzz, babies, we're live. And I always do that. I always bring in my fucking screen share instead of you guys. We're live, episode 12. Already fucked up. 2 seconds into the show. Setting the bar high tonight, babies. Welcome to Blake's Buzz. So happy to have everybody on the show. As I mentioned in the green room, this is Chris's third time, once on the podcast, 2 on Blake's Buzz Live. I must be doing something right if one of the top sci-fi writers in the indie game it wants to come on here 3 fucking times. Like, Chris, how you doing tonight, buddy?
I'm doing well, man. I mean, who wouldn't want to talk to you, Blake? No,
lots of people. But a lot of good people too. No, I appreciate it. I say this all the time. I love you, love your show, love your comics. You're good people. And I'm really stoked because we're going to talk about Saturn Effect Alpha tonight. I'm so excited. It's so cool. And you got we'll get more to it later, but we got a big campaign going on right now that I'm excited to talk about. Also with us tonight is Robert. I fucked up in the green room. Forgot to ask how to pronounce your last name there, bud.
Go for it. Give it a shot. See what you come up with.
Robert Krisch.
Hey, you got it, man.
No, man. I should
dude.
have just said it and not threw myself under the bus. You know?
You're right in the ship, man. You fucked up at the beginning, but you nailed that one. That's all I care about. So it's good.
Robert is the madman behind the hit indie comic Turner Family Terrors. That is so good. You can't just send it 1 pull quote. You got to send it 6.
6 pull quotes, man. I got him right here, dude.
You printed out my pull quotes.
At some point, we're gonna go through them. It doesn't have to be right now, but at some point, we're gonna go through them. And I've got my favorites. They're all hilarious, and we'll check them out. So yeah, hell yeah, I got my printout, dude. Come on.
the Blake's Buzz printout. Awesome, Robert. Happy to have you on the show. I really do. I dig your stuff, and like I said, I joke around with if Kevin and Will from Explain Yourself are watching. We're on the same network, so it's not stealing. But I do recruit from their show a lot. I'm like, oh, this guy looks fun to talk to. Let's hit him up. And they're like, oh, this guy's got a cool ass book. Their show costs me a lot of money. It's ridiculous. They have like they are super smart guys, and they have these awesome Kickstarter people on the show, and they got a good eye for content. And so so they have super cool guests on, super cool projects, and I actually just recorded an interview with them last weekend. So they're on Blake's Buzz in a couple weeks. Really excited to post that. We had a really good time talking, and it was fun. They had me on their show a while back, and it was pretty dope. And I kept Kevin up after the show, like after we went off air, like we all stayed and talked for like till 2 o'clock in the morning. Kevin was like, I can't do this anymore, guys. Like, I was like, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry.
Just an early caveat. I've got to get up early and drive to North Carolina tomorrow. So,
Well, on that note, Charlie McElvy, one of them, Charlie's here tonight. McElvy. Oh man, I was wrong like 5 times. You let me repeat myself.
McElvy there, you know, it's like you usually shouldn't do the thing. I get this all like I go to the pharmacy. They're like, "Oh, McElvy." I'm like, "Where the hell's the L in orientation to the E?" At least,
yeah, that doesn't even make sense. Like that's not even right. The L's in the wrong place. Like, you know, at least my fuck ups are like smart. I have smart fuck ups. You know. Well, anyways, Charlie has this awesome comic called Spider-Squirrel, and the adventures with they're also like I really identified with the backup hero. Yes, like Trash Panda, who is not a raccoon. You would think that it's a raccoon. And if I love raccoons, but it's an actual. Well, it's a guy who like can turn into a panda who then eats trash to gain additional superpower. Like those scenes in Dragon Ball Z when we like watched people like grunt for 20 minutes, right? And got all excited and the number like climbed and they were just like, oh, and the numbers climbing and we're like, oh, the fight's gonna kill you. That's what this panda does, except with garbage. He just, instead of like the number climbing and the grunting, he just eats garbage, turns into a fucking superhero.
He actually
again,
gave him
just
a useless raccoon tail too. So he actually has a stubby little raccoon tail that doesn't do shit. It's just there. So it's even like there's all kinds of silliness on that one.
Does it not do shit, or will like 2 issues later you're gonna like give him this awesome move with the stubby raccoon tail out of nowhere, and you're like,
it's funny. On
we
one of the
teased
covers,
this 3 issues ago.
Shaheen Lachuse had he did a cover for me, and I was like, "Oh, I have Trash Panda. What do you want to draw?" He's like, "Oh, I want to draw Trash Panda fighting ninjas." I was like, "I don't care, do it." And so he did, and one of the he's like kicking one, he's like punching the other, and his tail's over here going whack across the other one, you know. And it's short and stubby, but it's just funny because the guy's like, "Oh, and his teeth's flying out, a tooth is flying out." It's great. So you can use the tail. It's you know, it's there. It works.
I'm posting a link. Since we'll just go ahead. Since we're going to start talking about these Kickstarters, we might as well we'll start with. You have a very intriguing superhero comic, sir. Like you pull in all these great elements of superhero comics and then make them like you kind of put this like weird like funny spin on them, right? Like there's less drama, right? It's like the stakes don't feel as high, but the action is just as high, kind of. And I love it. Like it works really well, and the pacing is like blinding. Like it moves so fast. It's like if crack cocaine was a comic. On a good day, it's just fast, man. It's like boom, 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 man. And you just it's fast and it's relentless and it makes you smile. Like what are you doing here, man? Like this is crazy. Like how did this happen?
Yeah, that was absolutely the goal. I didn't want to like get into the whole origin story thing. I was like, we'll deal with that later. You know, you'll get the feel. And right off the bat, like I really wanted to deal with the characters, their interactivity, you know, between Trash Panda and Spider-Squirrel, just to get a sense of who they are together, you know, and the banter they have. And then I just you know, that first issue, we just said, all right, balls out, let's go, and we totally just threw the action at you, and that was. It was fun. I don't recommend it, but it was fun because I worked with so many other creators, and now I'm playing project manager, trying to get, you know, people from all over the place who are writing my character and other artists and art teams that I don't normally work with, and trying to chase them down for pages and stuff. And everybody was great, but again, it was just the logistical nightmare. These are pages that you're showing from the 3rd issue.
This is the one that's live on Kickstarter right now. Yeah.
Yes.
Look at this art. Like in every issue, 1 and 2, the art is also just gorgeous. Like you have assembled quite the art team, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, I actually just gave them a shout out on Facebook today because it dawned on me, like, I think the one thing that we as indie creators do a bad job of, it's not intentional. I know we're hustling. We're all trying to run 100 miles an hour to get our shit out there, right? And so, or we're on podcasts all the time trying to promote our shit. But either way, I wanted to make sure that my team was highlighted. So I went through and I was listed every single creative, artistically creative, not writers, in other words. So all my letterers, all my colorists, all my inkers and pencilers, and everyone who did something for my book, whether it was a cover, whatever, art-wise. And I did a list and I was tagging everybody, and Facebook's like, dude, you got to stop tagging people. Like,
oh, they yelled at you?
But I was waiting for that. It was kind of funny.
Shout out to Ignacio. Shout out to David Gage. Thanks for joining the chat. We appreciate you guys. So indie superhero comics is a tough field to play in. Right. Because a lot of people don't even want you there. Right. A lot of people are like, this is why I go to indie, to have like, you know, weird stories, you know, and you know, not, but you know, like, or, you know, slice of life, or, aliens, or a family that hates each other, and like mixed with Indiana Jones, mixed with fucking like Evil Dead. Like, let's wake up to that nightmare.
That sounds really good, man.
That
sounds like a fantastic comic, man. I want to back that bad boy.
Yeah.
But does it get like intimidating? Because like not everybody is coming to Kickstarter with superhero comics, right? Like that's
a fair question. Yeah, I actually was a little nervous coming into it. 10 years ago, I funded a book on Kickstarter superheroes, but it was a little bit more accepted. Although Kickstarter was still kind of a new thing in the indie comic space, and so it worked. But this one, I realized that I needed to have a bigger plan than just put a book out, and I think people are getting a sense that there's something bigger here than just a fun comic. That's obviously a lot of people are coming just for that fun comic. There's 230 backers in this one. There was 400 and something on the first one. A lot of return folks, right? So real excited that we're hitting what we want to hit. And I know when I do signings at the local store, people are like, "This is great," and now I got Trash Panda plushies flying out of my hands, which is awesome. And yeah,
that is awesome. That's fucking awesome as fuck.
But it's really cool. I mean, the last signing I sold out of. I took 20. I was like, I'll take 20. I'm not even gonna sell 5 of them, and I sold all of them. And people asked me to message them later to buy more. So it was really cool. But yeah, it's being
it looks like a superhero comic. Like it really does. Like from like cover to gutter. Oh, let's someone write that down, because that's a good from cover to gutter. This comic kicks ass.
That's our weekly Saturday show. Cover to gutters.
But it very much looks like a superhero comic, but it doesn't act like a superhero comic, right? Like it's and that's because of like the dialogue and the kind of nonchalance and the humor. But like it really, like if you flip through it, like it looks just as good as anything like Big Two are putting out right now. Like the art, I mean the artists are phenomenal. Like it's just like the panels pop, and I know like the writers on the show, so I should probably talk about the writing, right? But the writing's good too, and the jokes land and stuff, and it's just like
Did you read the second issue?
I did.
Okay, I couldn't remember if I thought I'd send it to you. There's a page in that second issue that was my absolute favorite. Like, it was one of those epiphany moments. Like, I want to get Trash Panda and Spider-Squirrel back together after all this indie bouncing, and I want to do something that's like, holy shit, like just have a great gag. And it was the scene where he walks in. And I won't spoil it for anybody who hasn't read it, but that was like my favorite page to write. And when I wrote it, I was like, I can't wait to see this drawn. And DC did it gangbusters. It was fantastic. And I actually had people message me going, I literally LOL'd at that page. Thank you. And so that was a huge win for me. I was good boy, proud of me.
I won't like spoil that scene, but I'll just say like I'm a big fan of. There's an X-Men run by a writer who's not everybody's favorite anymore, but the Whedon run of X-Men, there's a part where they find Colossus. They think Colossus is dead, and then Kitty's like, oh my God, Stars and Garters, and like she wasn't Kate then, she was still Kitty, so you can still call her Kitty at this point. And there's a time where like her and Colossus like hook back up, right? And like she phases while they're fucking, and she falls through the floor of the mansion naked, and it's a really good scene. And she falls through, and she's like, and it's like boom, lands on the floor, and there's like a random student like watching TV in the student lounge, and he turns around and she's like covering herself like, and she like runs back upstairs. And it's good, and the dialogue's real sharp, and it's a good scene, like in an intense X-Men run, just like a fun kind of like uplifting moment. And that's what this scene we're not going to talk about kind of reminded me of in a different way, right? Yeah. And it was just funny. So yes, so again, like you're definitely paying homage to like a lot of previous superhero comics, right? You're like showing love to everybody, and you're doing your own thing, and basically, like, I just love basically the first couple issues, this guy's like tumbling through wormholes, and structurally, and it works. Like the structure and the pace, like you as a reader are also tumbling through these wormholes, right? So like you never have time to get settled, and the narrative is like constantly throwing you in these different positions, and it's very intriguing, and it's very fun to read. and it's super dope, and it's on Kickstarter right now. You guys should check it out because it's fucking awesome. But I have a question. So there's like we see a lot of other comic book entities, whether like in the narrative or at the end when you're advertising new books with your press, that and a lot of these books have your names on them as well, with like with also you're working with other writers and stuff too. So like you're building a universe.
Yeah,
right
like
now.
I said, it's a lot bigger. I think we've publicized this already, so it's not too big a secret. But like Dean Haspel's even working now with us, like I'm more than one, with me on this, because it has gotten so big. He saw what the plans are. He understands what I'm doing, and he's excited about it. And when it gets a guy like Dean, excited, it can't help but get everybody else excited too. So my whole thing has been just build this enthusiastic community of co-creators and collaborators, and kind of, I don't know, just put together this universe. I have a lot of stories that I want to get out, but I can't do them all myself. And frankly, I don't think I want to. I want to have Vito Del Sante, who does Stray and has done Superman and other books. I want Vito writing and co-creating with me. And so Vito and I are working on the next book that's coming out called Milestone. And introduced in issue 3. Actually, it was introduced in issue 2 briefly, but in issue 3. And so that's coming. And then you were talking about some of the other characters. So there's a couple things going on. So one is when he's bouncing through those wormholes, or breaches as we call them internally, that each one of them, the art style changes, which you saw, Blake. And anybody else who's read that sees that the art style changes. So it's a different writer and a different art team, because wanted it to feel like you were in a different universe. And then I gave each of the writers, so these are all other indie creators who have their own characters and universes. Some have their own books, who get a chance to write my character in their universe. So Spider-Squirrel bounces to their universe, whether it's in the past, present, doesn't matter. Who cares? Is there a timeline? Whatever. And the reason I did that is because I really wanted to build a little community. I wanted to showcase what other indie creators are doing in mostly a superhero genre. Because to your point, there's not a lot of reception to it. There's some, but it's kind of almost ancillary, tangential to the main indie groups. So that was one focus. And then the second one was to introduce more of my characters. And we overfunded like 200% on the first one. So I actually put, I think, 2 5-page previews in the back of that first issue of 2 other books that we have coming out. One, Alpha Elite, which is like, imagine if Booster Gold had all of today's social media and was twice the jackass that he is. And, that's kind of, Alpha Elite, right? But he's got Superman's powers. So you got that guy running around trying to take selfies everywhere. You got Milestone, which I mentioned, which is a very introspective cosmic book. It's a very deeply personal kind of a book that Vito is writing, with Ariel Medell doing the art. And then we've got The Fundamentals coming out, which is my first family, another homage book. It's my love letter to the Fantastic Four. Scott Fogg is writing that. And we've got a newcomer doing the art, Craig Shepard. Some of you may actually seen Craig on Facebook and other places, but and then colors by Ross Hughes, and Micah Myers is doing the letters. Micah, of course, took one of the Ringos last year. Great dude and local to me. So just putting together this cadre of just awesome individuals who want to do more fun superhero stuff, or
just putting it together. He says it, guys. He says it like he's like I'm in the kitchen stone baking cookies right now. It's like, I'm just putting this together. We're gonna make these sugar cookies real quick. Shout out to El Crudo, buddy. Thank you for coming on the show. Awesome writer, awesome books. You should check his stuff out. He's amazing. But yeah, you aren't just putting this together. You're not just like hanging out in your good recliner, like, with your phone in your hand. Like you're both building a universe, and you're establishing a real big foot in the indie community with your own press and your own, like your own label. Like
basically,
basically, like it's fucking dope, dude. Badass.
The greatest compliment I think I've ever gotten was I was talking to Dean on the phone, and he's like, "I'm fucking excited, dude." And I was like, he said, You're like the goddamn indie comic Stan Lee. And I was like, I'll take it. He was actually,
I'm sure you would.
Yeah, I know, right?
Anybody would love to have that comment. I think
He was referring to my enthusiasm more than anything else, because this is me, like, constantly. I'm high energy. I'm real positive. I try to be that. That's me on Facebook. It's me on Twitter. It's me everywhere. I don't really let a lot of stuff get on my back. I just kind of keep going because I have an agenda. And my agenda is to create the most fun and, as diverse a cast of characters and books. So we get 6 books that are on the slate that I'll be introducing between now and different titles, not just books. Between now and
you're doing one with Daniel Calvin, right?
Daniel he's actually doing Alpha Elite, the one I was talking about. He wrote 2 stories.
He's about to go live with American Dreams. I'm going to drag him back on my show as well. He came on. We did a podcast together for the last Cthulhu Invades. Wonderland. He did a short in that, and he was on. That was super fun. Travis Gibb threw me into a podcast with me and I think there was 9 people at one point, because the max you can have on here is 10, and it was like it happened. Like we made it all the way through. But yeah, it was like I hosted 10 people and figured out how to make everybody talk, and it was cool. People. So some people are like, "Well, man, you had like 3 or 4 people on your show last night." I'm like, "Yeah, it's easy. Like, do 9, do 9, and being drunk, and be like, do 9 hammered." I did.
Wait, do 9 being hammered. That sounds like the name.
Yeah,
of your...
do 9.
So
give me 9 of them. Bring them on. I'm ready.
Well, speaking of letting others talk, I've run my yap, dude. I'll answer more questions, but I mean, these guys, man. Let's. I want to, because Robert.
Right. Yeah, I have other guests. I'm sorry. Yeah. This is why I have multiple people on to keep me in check and remind me. All right. So next, let's go. Well, next in my view is Chris. And so we're just gonna go around in the order. And Chris, I want to ask you something. That has nothing to do with your campaign going on right now. When I was kind of hoping for a card announcement, or a card, like a volume 1 booster pack add-on or something. I was looking before I backed. I was looking around. I was like, is there anything?
Cards are coming, Blake. Cards are coming. we had some problems with some printers, so instead of rushing out something, I wanted to make sure it's perfect. So we delayed it a little bit, but we'll be releasing with a second set, 2 sets at once now, and that one will be for another title. I do have prototypes, so maybe I'll send you some. Actually, could show you some cards.
Yes, let's see some cards. Hold on. Let me. I think I can.
Are those metal?
Well, I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to make you bigger.
Are those metal, or is that regular?
No, it's cardboard. They're foil though. They're foiled cards.
Oh, nice.
So,
dude, I'm not sure. If you need a new card printer, we can talk offline. I'll give you a name.
Yeah, I would appreciate that a lot. I mean, also if you need somebody to hop into your superhero universe, I'm right here.
Hey.
Yeah, Chris does write. Chris does write for a lot of other properties.
I mean, Robert and I can even do something, because the way it's done is, and you'll see it in the 3rd issue, there's an in for us to always do something somewhere else. So we're going to have fun with that shit. So you never know, dude.
Yeah, I mean, very cool. Definitely.
Blake's Buzz, bringing people fucking together, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we'll have cards coming soon, but just I wanted to make sure that was perfect. I don't want to put out anything that wasn't exactly how I wanted it to look. And so it'll be coming soon. It'll be coming with a second set, and it'll have even more artists. This first set was done mostly by Marco Del Forno, who I have a story with in Breakneck Fantasy Anthology. But we'll be bringing in some other artists that I'm working with that will also be on future projects. One of them being someone that did a variant cover for a future project, Control Z, that'll be coming out. So we got some cool stuff coming up, Blake.
Well, very cool. Anyway, sorry to get too excited and talk about your next Kickstarter campaign before we talk about this Kickstarter campaign. But Saturn Effect Alpha is live right now, and it's not just live. it's live with a fucking trade paperback. And I love trade paperbacks, man. I love them. I love when Kickstarters do the collected editions. It's cool. And I like it. I really like it when I've backed like digitally previously, right? Because it's like I'll back digitally, and then because I'm poor and I'm bad with money, and so like like I have to do that sometimes. But like when the books come out, right, the collected edition, like that's when you like I'm like, man, I gotta get it. Like I gotta get in there. It's collected. And then you have the word edition after it, even if it's not limited. It's just collected edition. I'm like, oh, that's money I need to give, And so I'm excited because we have the Saturn Effect Volume 1 trade paperback coming out, which is huge.
Thanks,
like, that's dope, man.
I appreciate it. It's our first trade paperback at Red Sea Comics, my first trade paperback. So we've been working on this for a long time. It's a lot of it's a couple years in the making now. So it's really awesome to finally be able to collect half of the story and put it out there. I mean, just a year and a half ago, we were funding issue 1, and I put in there that it's the part 1 of an 8-part series, and now we're halfway there to the finish line. We're at issue 4, and so this is the crazy midpoint, the epic sci-fi showdown that we've been building to, that takes place on Mars between our main character Alpha and the astro-modified Zex, who you meet in issue 2, and it's a big one. It's a 50-page installment, issue 4, and the whole collected volume together is 100. Each issue altogether is like 132 pages or 134 pages, which is about the size of 6 22-page comics. So
that's a full-size trade.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a fat trade paperback. So there's a lot of great content. Then there's be some bonus content at the end of the book as well. This isn't like back alley weed buying here, folks. Like, you're getting a full 132 pages. Like, this isn't your normal 4-page deal. Like, you're not getting screwed on these pages. You drop them on the scale, you're getting the full amount. Right? Yeah, exactly. You're getting as much content as possible, just jam packed in there. It's as overstuffed. You have a very generous dealer here.
Well, good, because
and a new cover, I love this new cover, by the way.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. But yeah, I'm a generous dealer. I always bless the pack. So speaking
of generous, if you've been buying the singles or you've been buying digitally, you can still just buy issue 4. Like, you're not getting backed into a corner to buy the trade.
Exactly.
You can keep collecting your singles, or if you're new to the game or you finally want a physical copy, you have this exciting new trade paperback to back. This is a good Kickstarter, man. You're like a smart you're smart with the market part of comic making too. That's why I love you. You're good people, and you know how to do it, man. You're like, you know how to play the game, and you're still like real humble about it too, which cracks me up and I love. But he's like,
I appreciate that, man. We're just starting. We're just starting out, man. We're just starting.
You're just starting, but you've been around. Like, the Red Sea's got a few titles, and you've written a lot of them, and like, you're the same way, man. Like, you're putting a brand out there. This isn't just like a one-shot Kickstarter, ladies and gentlemen. Like, this is a brand. Like, this is a series with a spin-off, and he's also doing other comics that are coming out. He was in an anthology recently. He's doing this card game. Like, this is a Kickstarter person to watch. Like, I'd like to think that I pick my guests, intelligently and know like who to brag about. And Chris Moses is a guy to watch on Kickstarter. Like, he's doing some cool shit. He's not just starting out, is what I'm trying to say. He's putting his fucking foot in the ground and playing the game, folks.
I appreciate that. But it's a long journey. Anyone that's just starting out and doing comics, has a book or doesn't have a book yet. It takes a while. These projects take a long time. Art takes a long time, and it's all building an audience takes a really long time.
That is true.
Especially one that's going to come and support you financially. Or just buy your product is what I mean. So it's a grind. It's a marathon. So it's always nice to make sure to take a deep breath, take a step back, and be like, okay, where am I? What am I like? What am I doing? What have I done? And what do I still need to do? And where do I want to be in 5-10 years? So It's all process, Blake, but I appreciate it. We got a bunch of people in the Red Sea that were part of this Kickstarter. You showed the Alpha 4 cover. We also have a Kickstarter exclusive variant that was done by Riccardo Secchi and James O'Freddy. Both of artists are actually on other projects that we have coming out. One being something that I'll have available at Brooklyn Comic Con for the first time, which will be in 10 days, which is Control Z. And the artist on this was also the artist on the variant cover for that's on the platform right now. So we got a bunch of stuff that we're working on. We're trying to get to the top, but it's a long process.
Paperback Dan's a backer. Look at that.
I appreciate that.
Cupcake Comics Reviews in the house. Thank you so much for tuning in. And yes, Saturn Effect definitely looks cool. All these guys' comics tonight looks cool. I really hope I don't fanboy over one of you guys more than the other. I'm going to try and kiss equal amounts of ass, but just know, just to get this right, just to throw this out there right now, all three of you are really impressive creators doing impressive things and doing unique and intriguing things that have your own brand and identity, kind of laced through every panel, popping up on every page and reminders to readers and backers that, hey, this is a special entity and this is what you get for venturing into Kickstarter, as opposed to buying everything that is on the top 10 shelf at your LCS or something like that. You guys are risk takers, move makers, wave makers, and it's cool. I loved it. This is what I love about Kickstarter and indie comics, man. Is to find these little gems that are totally different than what's out there right now. Even if you're paying respect to something, even if it's built off something, if it's your idea of the Fantastic Four, or it's a sci-fi drama, a sci-fi political drama, but spun in a different web that's your own, or if it's just what is your comic, Robert? It's a family. It's
a lot going on. There's a lot going on, man.
It's a dirty slice of life that you found under a discarded, somebody changed their baby's diaper and threw it out the window at a park. And you were walking the trail with your dog and you were having good thoughts and you stepped in somebody else's dirty diaper.
Hold on. I need to write this down. This is pull quote numbers. This is number 7.
This is pull quote number 7.
Where is this one going, man?
I don't, man. Well, you stopped it. The train derailed now.
I'm sorry.
The train was derailed before, but now the momentum has ceased. The genius is gone now. No, but it's, again, like these other guys, you're putting out this raunchy horror drama comedy that is also it's so smart, it's very real. Yes, there's aliens and the Baba Yaga and fucking these fucking Russian monsters and this conspiracy theory. It's like X-Files meets Family Guy meets F is for Family, and then Beavis and Butthead take a vacation there and then they leave because they can't handle it. It's kind of like that, if that kind of wraps it up. But Turner, it's
Turner Family Terrors. I'm glad you enjoyed it, man. I'm glad you enjoyed it. That's Turner. I say that it's a horror comedy, family adventure. And
that's a way more simplified thing than I
try to find a simplified thing when I'm trying to describe it, but it's the pitch is it's the Simpsons meets a Hellboy. It's got kind of a a whimsical kind of Scooby-Doo look to it. The humor it's kind of out there. It's like a Rick and Morty or a South Park. But my main influence is Mel Brooks's Young Frankenstein, and it's that classic black and white, old school horror monster look, crossed with an absurd updated comedy. And for me, the comedy is focused on a suburban family So it's like a personal story for me, and I'm glad to hear that I want people to kind of like relate to the family. I always tell people that for me personally, I'm just like a bumbling dad who is trying his best to not piss off his wife.
Way to say bumbling dad right when this panel comes
Right
up,
when
by
that,
the way, right?
I'm trying to not piss off my wife and screw up my kids, and so so it's fun for me because I get to write about my stories. I get to write about I get to joke around about my frustrations and my joys and my sadness, but mainly the humor, like those inappropriate situations that we get into as parents. I really want to kind of lean into that and like crank the humor up to 11 while also like layering on top like monster stories and mystery and myth, action adventure, urban fantasy, dick jokes, and spit takes. So like I just want to like sort of like threw that all together, you roll it up and smoke it, and that's Turner Family Terrors for you.
I see Nicole Dondria is your editor. Like, so I don't know any book she's ever had her name on that's ever faltered, stumbled, or not succeeded. Like,
she's amazing. At some point, she's going to teach me how to use a comma. It hasn't quite it hasn't quite worked yet, but at some point it's going to happen. And yeah, so we're on Kickstarter now with issue 3, and it's going
to be 4.
Yeah, it's been fun listening to you guys talk about trade paperbacks and liking trade paperbacks and like starting with one and slowly building up and then getting so we finished art for issue 3 and we're 7 pages done with issue 4, and that's going to be the final issue for the first story arc in the first volume. So we'll have our trade out later on this year, and it's cool. Like, this is my first book. I've been a television editor for the past 20 years, so I've been writing stories, but I've also been like professionally helping other people tell their stories. And for me, I wanted to tell my own stories, and so I started three and a half years ago, and it's been a creative journey for me. And it'll be a special thing, I don't want to get sentimental here, but it'll be a special thing holding up that trade in 6 months or 9 months, whenever it is. But yeah, so we're excited. And issue 3 is awesome. Our first 2 issues, we did a lot of origin stories. You really got to kind of know the family. And then it's all sort of building up to issue 3, where they're sort of on the run and they finally get to their destination, and you meet a whole gaggle of like other characters. And so really in issue 3, everyone is together and all hell breaks loose. And it's fun. It's fun to be at this point in the story.
Yeah, I obviously can't talk about it, even though I want to. There's a really good twist in 3 that, like, when we get introduced to our main bad, right? Our big baddie, like
big bad shows up.
Yeah, and I was like, it made total sense, but I had no idea that's
really.
Oh nope, I was like, man, like the seeds. Maybe I'm just dumb though, right? Like maybe I'm just like. Maybe I don't know how to read comics great.
No, like, it's better. It's better that you're dumb. It's better that you're dumb, because then you can, then you can enjoy it. Everybody who's like a screenwriter, like they or write comics. So sometimes you see some of this stuff a little bit ahead of time, but it's good to not see it, and just be surprised and just get into the story.
Yeah, I know, like looking back, right? You see like these seeds were planted.
Yeah.
But it's still, I was just like, what? And then, yeah. And also you really distract everybody from like the momentum of the plot. Like things progress like quickly, but the like lunacy of the scenarios, right? Like it distracts us and keeps us off guard. Again, like all of you guys do tension and pacing in different, really smart ways. And it's really cool. Like like Charlie is this like it's bombastic, and he works well with the artist, and like these like choreographed like fight scenes that like jump across the pages, like that like helps move the narrative and like keep it fast paced. And Chris has these like multi narratives that are simultaneously happening and like brings like modern politics into it, but also this like made up world's politics and these different races and how they're interacting with each other and this overall mystery. And so there's just enough like moving parts that you're like scrambling to hold them all together, but that makes you an active reader, right? So you're like involved with the plot in numerous ways while you keep track of it. And that's how he kind of controls tension and motivates his different scenes. And like you rely on like this outlandish behavior that is still like embedded in this like systematic nuclear family, right? It's this thing that we all know in our hearts, but you're like putting them in these situations that are like, what? No, like where, what would we even do? Like, how would we navigate that? How would we do this? And you do it in a real funny way, which is, it's just real smart writing. And I really dig what you're doing here. Thank you.
Well, for me, the way my writing, where it comes from, my imagination, it mainly stems from the inappropriate situations of my own family. And so something messed up will happen, and then my brain will think, oh, you know what would be really messed up is if this happened in that situation, right? So then for Turner Family Terrors, I start at that messed up situation, and then I add monsters and I add folklore and mystery and all sorts of, just playing with all the wonderful genres that I love, you know. Yeah. But at the core of it, it sort of starts from kind of a real place, so people can recognize that and barely kind of hold on to that while all this crazy shit is going on.
Because that's what it kind of reminds me of. Like I'm a big David Sedaris fan, right? Mm-hmm. And like I love how he writes about his family and pro, you know, like and it's just and himself, like himself and the people he's with, or like his venture of like quitting smoking, which like when I quit smoking, it was fucking boring. But you know, I just get to say like I literally quit smoking twice during a nationwide pandemic, which is kind of cool because I quit and then I started again and then I quit again and now it's stuck, right? So now I'm like, now all my money really gets to go to comics, right? I'm not having to like share that sit with fucking cigarettes all the time. But yeah, so anyway, I really like David Sedaris. I love the family narrative. When I was in grad school, I was in a creative writing program and I wrote a lot. I wrote a lot of creative nonfiction, except I wrote about the bar, like, which also kind of turned into a different family because I was bouncing then. And I just like, my life was these people, right? I was around them all the time. And so I wrote about that because it was just like, it was a world that people aren't used, like, you know about it, but you're not used to it, right? Like you go to a bar all the time, you know what a waitress is, you know what a bouncer is, you know what a bartender is, but like, you're not privy to that like conversation behind the counter when they're like putting your food together. And or you know, the behind the scenes aspects. And that's what your comic reminds me of, because I'm like childless and alone, right? So you know, I don't know what this family thing is about. Like it's weird. And but you anchor me into that. Like you that love is real. That love between these characters is real, and they seem like they hate each other, but they love each other, and you pull that off really well. And that's fucking family, right? Like I can't fucking stand you, but I might die for you on a good day.
That's the thing. That's what the space that I love to play in, because your family, they're the people that you love the most and you would kill for them, but they're the people that drive you the most crazy. And they make you the angriest, like on a day-to-day basis. They're the ones that piss you off the most. And so it's like, you know, dealing with that duality or whatever, you know, and that's, I just think it's funny. I think it's
hilarious when it's like not happening to you though. Like, yeah, like when I can read your comic like vicariously and be like, oh yeah, like this is cool. But like, when you're like really like, and again, like these aren't actual problems we're stressing with, right? Like when we were abducted by aliens as a child, and now our adult bodies do things that they're not supposed to do, and there might be like a tiny robot living inside of us. Spoiler alert. But that's just one of the many little narrative nuggets that you get, like a nice fried narrative nugget that you get to just pick out, dump in some weird sauce and eat that shit up and num 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 num. Like that's just one of the little things that you get in Turner Family Terrors. But yeah, so I was gonna ask, and I'm glad you brought it up, because I was worried about, like, I didn't want to like offend you. It'd be like, so is your family like fucked up? Is this where like all these things come from? But you did mention like that, not that your family's fucked up, but that like
we're totally fucked up, man. We're totally fucked up.
You do bring in some little elements, right? Of real family life.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's just a lot of it is I mean, my daughter, she's a little terror, you know, and so it's like, and so it's easy for me to kind of.
You're a little league coach too, right? Or you were? Your season just wrapped up, right?
Yeah, I'm on easy street right now with my Kickstarter because the baseball season's over, and so before I was doing the day job and I was doing the Kickstarter and I was coaching 2 little league teams, and so baseball season's pretty much over. So I am life is easier. But
sometimes I hate talking to you guys. Like, I'm just kidding. I love talking to you guys, but it's like I talk to you guys because like sometimes I stress myself out because I'll do like last week I had an interview. I did Wednesday Night Live, and then Thursday, Saturday, Sunday I had interviews, and like it I don't want to, like, it's work. It doesn't feel like work, you know, but like to get like to prep and be like hyped up and try and be a good host and try and not be like all the way an asshole, like a little bit of an asshole. Cause like people like watching you, but like not, you know, to like play that line. But, you know, it's just like, it was like a lot of interaction. It's like, it would be like hosting like a party 3 nights in a row. Right. And then you're like, dude, I need a quiet night where the only thing I hear is my dog, like maybe being annoying. Like that's all I need for like this one night. And so like I get stressed out sometimes, but then I talk to you guys and you're like, yeah, like I got a couple kids, and then like I coached your teams, and then like I'm launching this Kickstarter right now, and then like I have the day job, and then I do this other thing, and then I'm also writing this novel. I work at the pet project on the weekends and help people adopt dogs, and then you know, I went on this hike and we climbed a mountain, and then when we got to the top of the mountain, we jumped off of it. They gave us these parachute packs, right? And we jumped off the mountain after we hiked it, and then we took a whole bunch of pictures and posted them online. And then I'm like, man, I have this interview and I had to work 10 to 7 today, and I got to write this review, and then I'm like, and like, man, I'm like, I need to shut up. Apparently, damn, I got the easy life.
Sure. Yeah, exactly. What you just said, man. What you just said.
No, but it is very like, I joke, but it's impressive like that you guys have real life things going on too, and then you're also that's one of the beauties of Kickstarter, right? Is if you can hang, right? If you can put the weight on your shoulders and you can do it, and you can do your own press and you can remind people to back your campaign, and you can do all this shit. Kickstarter, yes, Kickstarter can be great for you. But you gotta be a special people.
It ends at some point, right? It's like,
but then you come back. You got to do it again.
Then you come back. It's like, I wouldn't know this. I've never been pregnant, but like when you're pregnant, you go through the worst pain in the world, but your body like makes you forget somehow, and then you get pregnant again.
And you do it again.
You do it again, yeah. And so that's sort of like
you heard it here, folks. Robert says that that kickstarting is just like pregnancy.
Yes. Don't let my wife hear that. She's no pain medication both times. So.
If I try to pull that one, my wife had like the easiest labors and they're all natural, and she's like, there's a kid, you know, and I'm not no shit either. I mean, like, she is just. It's amazing to watch. It's actually fascinating to watch somebody. She's not like in the movies, like you know, and like fucking blood.
She's not like breaking your hand, like I fucking hate you. That was in the movies I watched. I'm not like, it's on HBO. It's not TV. It's HBO.
Dude, we got 7 kids, Robert. We should talk. We should compare notes here, man.
You have 7 kids? Wow. Hats
shit.
off to you, brother. You
Wow.
talk about being busy and goodness and listening to all the projects you have going on. Yeah. Staying busy. We like to stay busy, right?
We're psychotic, is what we are. There's got to be this like disorder that we have. I'm not sure, like Kickstarter Phinia or some shit. I don't know. Come up with the name of it, but yeah, we're psychos.
Yeah.
Chris, you don't have any kids, do you, Chris? Or do you?
No, I'm childless.
Chris
at
said
the
he just got
moment.
pregnant listening to us.
Yeah, so I'm listening to all this. You have a lot of stuff going on too, Blake. I'm just like I write comics sometimes, smoke a joint now and then.
I just talk about comics sometimes. That's the stressful part of my like. I'm scared because I need to work on a script thing that I'm supposed to talk to people about, and I need to like take a break and not do like maybe take a break from this stuff for a little bit to like focus on other stuff. And I'm like fucking scared that if I take a break, like it's dead, right? Like if you're like, I'm like riding this wave, right? And when I get off this wave, like some other weird bearded nerd's gonna fucking come out of nowhere from the Midwest and be like, I like comics too, man. I started this podcast and people like me more than you because they woke up on a better day and saw my podcast. You know, like I don't know.
I think there's
So-
definitely enough space for podcast people, honestly, for everyone. But truthfully though, like everyone is so booked up now that does podcasts and talks to indie creators and stuff. So there's definitely plenty of room. And I think if you
That's
want to take a
true.
break, you definitely could, and we'd all still be here to hop back on the buzz.
Because that's why I started doing this. I started doing the Wednesday night thing because so many people were like hitting me up, and there was like a couple weeks where I did like 2 podcasts a week, and like podcasts are different. Like, all right, so like this is live, so like whatever happens, sorry, like that's it. But like the podcast, I can edit a little bit, and then and even if I don't edit much, it's still like you do like the promo art, and then you upload it, and then you gotta like type all the little like description deals, and then I add my filters to each audio track and mix it. And then I did have someone paying for advertisements, which was cool. So I would like have to like find a good spot in the middle to like throw their commercial in. Then you add the intro and outro music. So with minimum editing, like dropping an episode's is like a 2-hour deal from like start to finish. And I was trying to do 2 a week sometimes. And then I saw other people like interviewing like Kickstarter folks like this. And I was like, ooh, let's do that, right? And then but then like that costs money, which I got like a decent webcam and a good mic and all my little my snazzy things is and like, but that's how this started, was like I was like, I can't have everybody on the podcast, like I wish I could, and then but this has been fun too. And it's also fun because I use it as an excuse to get drunk. And like this is the 12th episode. So like 12 for 12 episodes, I've been like 3/4 lit up and they've all gone like well. Right. So like now it's like a tradition. So like if I don't drink one night, like are we fucked? Are we dead in the water? Like is it gonna be like fucking Titanic and like only one of us can hold on to this floating piece of wood that's like a 6x9 floating piece of wood, and only one of us can hold on to it. But yeah, anyways, yeah. But I'm glad. Like I'm glad because I know indie creators need it. You guys need an outlet to like talk to people and like God love you. That's one of the hardest parts of Kickstarter. I think it's like talking to fucking weirdos like me. Like if you guys just had like a regular job and shit and you weren't putting out comics, you wouldn't have to talk to the Blake Morgans of the world. Like you could save yourself like an hour and 45 minutes of weird shit.
Wait,
but you guys decided to go down that road.
I got out of bedtime duties tonight, so this has been perfect for me. This between 7 and 8 Pacific time. That's the witching hour in the Krisch household, and I skated past that tonight. So thank you. It's nice meeting you.
No one tucked anyone in. No one read any bedtime stories.
No.
I just got to talk about this comic I make, and it was amazing.
There was a door over there where all hell is breaking loose, and I'm nowhere near it. So this is great.
That's cool.
Awesome.
Well, I'm glad the sorry babe I have a podcast excuse works. Like that's
This is it. This is the last one for this campaign. My wife has told me.
Hey Robert,
said-
so now you know
yeah.
the secret is just hop on StreamYard and just like invite some random ass friends and just go, oh honey, I got a podcast. And if she hears multiple voices talking or whatever, you know, and then you can start recording them and then just playing them and then go take a nap.
Yeah.
Like, you know, see? Thinking.
Yeah, just play it over your speakers and sleep. You know, though, that I mean, that's how I learned how to podcast, was just talking to random friends like over Zoom and stuff. Because like during quarantine, we didn't have anyone to talk to, and like we were like all talking on Twitter, and we were like, oh yeah, I like this comic, and we kind of started talking over Zoom, and then all this, and then this amazing thing happened. Like all this happened because COVID ravaged our world, guys. Isn't that great? Just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, but not. I'm also not kidding because that's for real. Out like we like, and so many like that's the joke I throw around all the time because I'm like I'm just like, you know, like I know no one's ever done this before, but I'm a 36-year-old white male podcaster, which is like there's like a fucking million of us that we all started doing this like, you know, during the pandemic. But yeah, like it's a weird world now, but it does if the podcast like joke works, man, like just get your friends, like you just all like hop on like and then just talk to each other and then take a nap. You know, all sleep. You can all like sleep live, live on air. Just
there's a big market.
Dad
for that.
naps.
There's a huge market for that.
There's got to be a market, dude. There's a market for balloon popping.
Yeah.
There's a market for bath water. There's a fucking market for dad.
There's
naps.
a market for vagina eggs. So no, I you know, to actually be serious for a second, which is unusual for me, but I mean, like to your point, like I think, you know, I love what nobody loves the pandemic. And you know, I lost a grandmother to it, and you know, my son got sick with it and stuff, and you know, but so no one loves the pandemic, but I love how we as humans have like made the best of it in a lot of ways. And I think indie comics microcosm that, right? You know, because the stuff we're doing, I actually think indie comics benefited significantly from people being at home and just dicking around on their computer, you know, during a work day and going, oh, what's on Kickstarter? Oh, look, there's a stupid squirrel and a panda guy. I'll back that. And, you know, and I think they've done that kind of stuff. And I think it's really helped. And it's allowed you know, guys like, I think Robert got called away for diaper duty.
No, my TV room is like heating up. It's like a 200 degrees in here now, so I'm trying my best to open. There's a window right here, and my arm's just out of my arm's reach. Yeah, I should have worn my tank top, man. I should have taken notes from you, dude.
As the buzz goes on, the clothes go off, right?
I won't stop my camera. Man. You'll just see me stand up.
Yeah. No, but no, anyway, so you know, Blake, I'm glad you're doing this. I mean, I'm glad a lot of podcasters are out there doing it, and I think everyone's got their own little market, you know, just like indie comics. Chris nailed it, right? There's plenty of room for these, and I think, you know, you've got a cool thing. I know you attracted my attention on Twitter, and obviously Robert, and somehow you convinced Chris to come on 3 times. I don't know what kind of drugs you do actually feel, but
right, yeah, it's not like we're in the same state. It's like I can like run over to his house and be like, here's yours.
Anything in media mail, as long as they never open it, you know.
Yeah, right. And the only time they open it is when you say it's comic books is basically what I hear. Like,
yeah.
Media mail, what's in it? Media.
Let's see. This is what you get, folks, when you watch Blake's Buzz. You learn how to mail drugs to your friends. Media mail. Thanks, USPS. You're the only good part of the government. Anyway.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
I've like shipped stuff to like places in New York, and they'll like send it all the way to like they'll send it to a different state before it'll come back. It's sometimes I'm not sure what they're doing over there, but
dude, I sold, so like I haven't shipped things like you guys have shipped things, right? But I sold when the going was hot, I sold my Something Is Killing the Children books, and I made a nice little penny and bought a whole bunch of Marvel omnibuses because I fucking buy omnibuses. I can't stop. That's my drug. And but I like painters taped them to like cardboard and wrapped them in bubble wrap, and then wrapped all that in a plastic baggie and tied it and taped it, and then sandwiched it between 2 cardboard deals, and then put that in a mailer. Like I did like everything I could to like ship this great. I had the PayPal deal, printed out the PayPal label, brought it to the post office, and they're like typing in the address from this like real PayPal label. And they're like, yeah, this isn't a real address. And I'm like, well, yeah, it is though, because that's a verified PayPal address. And it says PayPal on it. It says verified. It says the fucking address. I'm like, mail this fucking, like, I'm trying to make like $300 off this comic sale person. Like, and they're like, yeah, it's not a real address. Every time I go to the post office, it was like 2 trips just to mail like my set of Something Is Killing the Children stuff to like other people. So like I cannot imagine what it's like fulfilling a Kickstarter campaign. And like, do all you guys do it yourselves? Like, are you guys like packing and shipping and taking them to the post office, and you like show up with like a cart full of shit and you're like, I'm sorry.
Literally, that was me.
Yeah, I don't even see the post office people. I use Backer Kit's postage stuff, or I just do a mail merge and dump it all into USPS and just have just the labels shoot out and rock and roll, man. And then I just walk over to the post office or drive over there, and there's a little parcel thing. I drop like 10 boxes at a time.
Oh, so you're printing your own labels out. You're like weighing it, printing it, doing it all. Okay.
Yeah, I don't go to the post office either. I just put it out in front of on my stoop. And I just go to the website and say pick it up tomorrow.
You let them know. All right.
Yeah, and then so
I'm thinking of like random post office just coming up to your doorstep. There's like 5 fucking crates of fucking like this.
Yeah, I mean, I actually
Turner family. Fuck this guy is what his comics.
I bet it's media mail too. I bet he's screwing us on media mail.
Sending drugs through the media mail.
I'm gonna open all his packages.
But I actually do go to the post office, so I usually get like weird looks because I have to make multiple trips inside with like multiple stacks of books shipping out, and people looking at me like, what the hell could you be doing? But like the post office people know me, so they're like, it's comic books, you know. So
nice. I remember when I was like sending off a lot of like, so when I was like trying to get published when I was in grad school, because I'm fucking old now, so like we sent like self-addressed stamped envelopes, and we like sent physical copies to people, and sent like, you know, in like, you know, yellow envelopes, like, you know, printed narratives and stuff, or they'd ask for 50 pages and you'd have to print out 50 pages and like send them to these people. And like now it's all done like digitally. And so like I used to go to my post office all the time, and I was like sending all these envelopes, and like a couple of the ladies were like, what are you sending? And I was like, well, I'm in college. I'm like trying to be this like writer person. These like short stories. I'm sending them off to try and get published. They're like, oh, that's so neat. Like, oh, good for you. And then you come in like a week later, and they're like, oh, you're sending more of them. And I'm like, yeah, here's some more. And then you come in like a couple weeks later, and they're like, oh, you're still doing this? Like, oh, that's neat. Good for you. And like the enthusiasm just dwindled. But yeah, but I can't imagine like sending like all that stuff, but that's cool. I've heard Backer Kit is useful like as a storefront. I didn't know it made stuff like that much easier, where you just like, you can like print your labels and like slap them on there and toss them out.
Yeah. And if you got one of those, if you got a thermal printer, I forget the brand name, but if you got
like the little label printer guy with the sticker.
Dymo?
That's the one. Yeah. Those are great. I mean, $400, but you know they're
oh my god!
If you buy it once and you just buy the labels, right? And then you can just
that was my purchase last Kickstarter, was one of those label makers. I think it was like maybe 300. It's probably 400 now.
So but if you didn't have one of those, you could like use like a regular printer, right? And then like cut the label out with scissors.
That's what I did.
Do that like 100 to 400 times or whatever.
That's what I did for the first campaign. I just printed it out.
I can get 2 labels at once, baby. No, actually, I actually formatted. Yeah, he knows. So yeah, I mean, it's not that bad. It's still better than what the alternative, right? Is, you know, Backer Kit is great because you can do that export, and it's just it costs money. I mean, that's the thing with Backer Kit is, you know, you kind of have to plan. You got a budget for that, and if you're not budgeting for that, I'm not going to apologize. You got to plan for things, right? So, you know, but Backer Kit costs money. It's worth it to me. Robert probably agrees because he's using it too. It's like, not only do you actually. The great thing about Backer Kit, I'll plug these guys because I thought they were really, really super awesome. Their support's great. Is, you know, I made more money on Backer Kit after campaign sales than I spent on backer kit. So it paid for itself.
Oh, cool.
And I got more pledges afterwards. And the other great thing is some of those pledges, sometimes they fail at Kickstarter level. People can still go back and at backer kit and finish out their survey and then pay for what they missed. You know, maybe things happen, right? It should happen. And I, you know, I'm sympathetic. You know, maybe somebody's credit card declined because they went over on the limit, or they're having tough times. Things happen, right? We all get it, and I won't fault anybody for bailing out if they have to. But the nice thing is backer kit's another way for people to come back and go, hey, I got money now, and they can actually go and take care of what they opted to do initially, and that's great.
I heard backer kit's better for like add-ons and stuff too, because like if you do like add-ons through the regular Kickstarter, it's kind of aggravating and weird. Apparently,
It's okay
do both.
You can do both, and that's what we usually do, because it'll import the add-ons as well. It's only better because, you know, in a way, in my opinion anyway, I mean, Robert, I'll let you chime in, is the best part is like if I want to add an add-on, I don't have to tell people, hey, by the way, go back and change your pledge. I added this new add-on. They have to go cancel their pledge, re-pledge, and then go to the add-on section, which is totally obnoxious, and I wish Kickstarter would actually fix that.
Yeah, it's pretty clunky. Yeah, it's pretty clunky. And actually, I changed my campaign this time around. I used for my first two campaigns, my rewards were pretty simple. I had like maybe 8 to 10 reward tiers. And for this campaign, I was like, you know what? I'm going to do a little bit different. And I had like 20 tiers. And I basically created a bunch of tiers where I had all these different variations. And so I tried to kind of think about what would people want to add on, or what would be like an interesting tier. And so I just created that one. So because it's true, the add-on process in Kickstarter is, like I said, a little clunky. So I tried my best to just kind of put them out there, even though it's a lot, but and it's been good. People have found certain ones. And then it's funny, I was on Kevin Joseph's podcast, and he was like, there's this one that I want, and you were going to make him.
Yeah, you were going to make him one.
And I made it for him the next day, and I contacted him. He got it. And like 2 days later, like 5 other people got this one tier. And so that was just like, you know, if you have a backer that, and I did it for a higher end tier, a backer of mine said, how do you have this and this? And I said, you know what? I'm going to go in, I'm going to make you your own tier. I'm going to put them both together, and I'm going to take like 10% off, and it's just going to be right there waiting for you. And he's like, oh yeah, sweet. And so I did that for that. But
Robert is opening up a floodgate of drama for every Kickstarter out there now. every fan, every Kickstarter, there's gonna be like 3 people that are like, you did this tier and this tier, but like I would rather have this tier.
Whatever. Email me.
Yeah.
I'll make another tier. At this point, the cat's out of the bag. I have so many friggin' tiers that it's just like, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Do you guys
I'm with
find
Robert.
that,
You know,
you're all into
do-
3 or 4 issues right now, right?
Yeah.
So like, do you ever worry about too many add-ons, like too many selections, like, or are you just like, no, fuck it, I'm gonna like get what you want?
I think initially I had like 3 add-ons for this one, and I was like, oh, you know what? In a couple days, I'm gonna add these are like my pocket add-ons, and I'm gonna do a Kickstarter update and promote them, and I'll do all this stuff. And it was literally like a day later, someone contacted me, and I was like, well, how do I get this? And I was like, oh shoot, that was a dumb idea. And then I just went back and I put a whole bunch of back ordered issues and some variants on there as add-ons. So they're all there now for people to get.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think we've all done that, Blake. I mean, it's not actually adding a reward is nothing. Adding add-ons is a pain in the ass. So,
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
so it's easier. It's easier to tier it than to add add-ons.
Yeah, and
it's easier for the consumer. It's easier for the backer.
Okay.
Exactly.
So it's much easier for them to just go to the homepage and see what they want and then click it, as opposed to clicking on something else, going to the add-ons. And then there's a whole thing with shipping which is a little funky. You're adding on floppies and are you going to be adding on shipping? And so it's a little.
Yeah, because I hate that when you can't do 0 on an add-on for shipping because somebody will take advantage of that. But then you go, oh, do I do $1? I mean, because you have to do at least $1, and it's like I feel bad when somebody goes, hey, I'll do 15 books or whatever, which I've had people do, and it's like $15 extra in shipping. I'm like, dude, it only cost me $8 to ship it. Like, so and I've offered refunds and stuff like that in those situations. Those are rare, but yeah, it's weird. To Robert's point, as a backer, I'm a super backer. What is that? I don't even know. I'm like a crackhead, like I mentioned, like 500 and something stupid campaigns or 400 something campaigns. And I tell you, I still run into campaigns. This looks really cool. And I go through all the rewards and I'm like, I'm looking for this, like the one reward and it's not there. And then I'm thinking, well, maybe it's an add-on. And so I'll go, well, I'll pick the one that like has most of what I want. And then I go and there's no add-on for what I'm looking for. So then I have to cancel. I'm like, God damn it. So then I go back and I got to do what happened to Robert. I got to message the creator again. Hey, where's the reward that has 1, 2, and 3? You're not just 1 or 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Or throw the add-ons in. I don't care. And so, whatever.
Chris, do you think it's easier when you get a trade? Like when like you're putting out this collection and you're like, this is everything you want. Like just this book, like back this fucking book.
Easier. Nope.
Yeah,
go ahead, Chris.
I mean, it's not. It's a little bit easier in the sense that like I can, like for the most part, I don't have to sell digitals of 1, 2, and 3 and 4 separately. It's like, if somebody wants a digital catch up, like I can just send all like the whole volume at once. It is definitely annoying with shipping and even the fulfillment if you're not doing it through BackerKit. I don't use BackerKit, but if you're trying to fulfill add-ons like digital, you have to like. They don't make it easy to track who got what add-on and all those different things. So you have to like go through it one by one to make sure everybody gets what they're supposed to get. But yeah, I mean, I think it's nice to be able to be like, yeah, here's one thing that you can just grab, but people are still going to want the back stuff too. So there's no really escaping it. As I think Charlie was saying, there's like you're going to be. You're going to have a little bit of an issue and people are going to want, and you're never going to know which issue somebody's going to want. Like somebody might have, like I've had people that like backed issue 1 and then like didn't come back for issue 2, but now and 3 and are now back for 4. And so they want to get 2 and 3. So it's like, it's always nice to actually have those rewards available, but it'll always be a pain to make sure that everybody gets what they want.
Like someone will get the trade and then they'll be like, I want the variant. I want the Kickstarter variant for issue 2 and then the sticker.
For Stickney's campaign for White Ash, I bought a bunch of stuff for the Kickstarter and I couldn't get this one thing. And then I just went to my local comic book shop and that one issue was still on the shelf. So I picked that up there and that caught me up. And then I got everything from the Kickstarter. And so that was the one time where I actually had to get out of my house and run around Culver City and pick up a floppy that I was missing.
That's funny. Well, I mean, because that's a new deal we're running into now, right? Like these Kickstarters are getting picked up and released in other places, and then you get your option to like be out on comic book shelves, and then you can still, a lot of people, that's what confuses me is like when people are like still Kickstartering and then like also like other people will put their issues out later, and it's cool. It's just I never know like what to, like I always want to go the Kickstarter route then, right? But I guess like you're building an audience, like people are going to see it and grab it. Or like I know like Scout just put out a new one that's I can't think of the title, but why Charlie's is one, yeah, Charlie and Tart, like they released, but there's like a code 45 or something 45 that I'm still waiting like to get. Like they have issue 1 through 5 on Kickstarter, but issue 1 is just released this week through Scout. And so it's interesting in this new Kickstarter world where people they're way more into it right now, right? They're really into crowdfunding. It's hot, it's fun, it's intriguing, it's this new way of life. But also, I mean, until now, like now cons are starting to come back but for the last couple of years, like the closest real con experience we got was crowdfunding, because we could like talk to the creators directly, and you could get like a sketch and a signature on your comic and like pay a couple extra bucks for it, right? Or get like these extra prints, and essentially like the Kickstarter page was the con table, right? And you're picking what you want, and it was an experience, and the creators were way eager to like talk to you about it or talk to press about it, and like they would they're like, yes, like we will talk to anybody, like let me tell you about my Kickstarter campaign. But so it turned into this new like commercial experience kind of, and that's what happened during the pandemic, and now we're still there, right? Now cons are coming back, but we're still a lot of us like are into this Kickstarter movement. Now we have like other places to Kickstart, right? We have like new crowdfunding sites that are popping up, like like Zoop and all this other shit. Like all you guys are still using Kickstarter. Are you guys ever thinking about like trying something else, or is it like you got enough shit to deal with?
No, I'm actually talking to Jordan over at Zoop. I was originally going to see about co-releasing issue 3 on both platforms, but then I thought, one, that's just too much damn work, and I've never had twins before, so I don't know what that's like, and two, and two,
you still have you're still 7 of them. You still have 7 kids, man. You're doing plenty of work over there, dude.
Yeah, and it's so there's that, and then I really felt like, first off, I love my Kickstarter backers. I mean, the fan following, I guess you call it, and I feel weird saying I have fans. I don't know that that's true, but they like my book, so that's that's cool, and I don't want to betray that at all. So I really want to make sure that people who back on Kickstarter get what they expect from me, which is usually like I always have a Scott McDaniel. I love working with Scott. He's obviously a comic book legend. He's done a cover for every release so far. He did 2 covers for the trade. And so, I want to reward them with that. So inversely rather, when I do Zoop, whenever I do Zoop, I want to make sure that it's fair to the Kickstarter crowd as well as the Zoop crowd. There are going to be many people who don't want to do Zoop because it's new. I have a lot of people who don't want to do Kickstarter anymore because they're threatening with the whole blockchain stuff, and and everybody's like, oh, they're gonna go crypto. Well, maybe, but that's only one aspect of blockchain. That's not, blockchain's a database function, and I'm in IT, so forgive me. And so I want to be fair.
I really want to like pick your brain so hard right now, but like I know like I know there. People watching it are probably like, dude, no. I don't want to talk crypto right now, man.
What I don't like about, well, I'll just say, if I have any reservations about blockchain, it's the environmental impact, because it does require a shitload of processing power right now, and until we make that more efficient, I think it needs to be. I don't want to say regulated. People hate that word. I don't want to say minimized either, but I think we need to be judicious about how we leverage blockchain. I think it's great technology.
But so that element is real then, because I've heard people screaming fake news at that shit, right? But like that report that came out that was like, oh yeah, like this uses like this one like plant uses a whole fucking country's like energy usage for like one.
Well, those are miners. Yeah, when you have blockchain miners, that's what that really becomes the big problem, is people who are trying to like mine Bitcoin specifically and things like that. Okay. But all technology has a cost on the environment, to be honest with you. I mean, there's no way around it. Germanium's got to come from somewhere. Silicon's got to come from somewhere. Then that stuff doesn't go back in the ground the same way it came out. So that's a whole other problem, right? But anyway, all that stuff aside, I think. I think Zoop is great. I love working with Jordan. If you guys haven't talked to him, he's a phenomenal guy. He's on Twitter. He's pretty active there. He also used to be the drummer for Big Time Rush, for you dads. But yeah. So I think if I do Zoop, for me, or when I do Zoop, I'm sure I'll do something there. I want to make sure that it gives them something unique too. I don't want to just take a Kickstarter thing and go, oh, look, here's a Kickstarter exclusive cover, and now it's a Zoop exclusive. That's just wrong. Yeah. And I've seen that, and I won't call anybody out. I have an integrity thing that just won't let me do that kind of stuff. I'd rather just pay the extra money to get a new cover done. So
Yeah, no, I saw that Discord. There's a couple Kickstarter discourses floating around right now, which is not as intense as like comic book discourse floating around, but there's like someone mentioned the other day, like no one talked about their creative team, which I've never seen, and I know all your guys' campaigns, like you're all very good at like showcasing your collaborators, and like your
I saw
editors.
that tweet.
Yeah, like, but you guys showcase your editors, your artists, your letter. Like, you guys are all very fair and forthcoming. Of like, guess what, motherfucker? I'm not the only one who made this comic, which apparently some people aren't. Which would turn me off too, right? Like, that would be, unless you're one of those like weirdo like Jeff Lemire people that can like do everything yourself. But even Jeff Lemire has readers and editors, right?
But there are actually a ton of people on Kickstarter that do everything themselves. You know, so
Yeah.
so I have friends that, I mean, they're writer, artist, letterer, so they're, and even one of my friends, he responded to that tweet. He was kind of joking about how he wish he had a creative
we all saw that
team.
tweet.
Yeah, right. So I thought that was funny, but yeah, but yeah, definitely, promote your team. Half my pages, I think.
Like all of you guys like shout everybody out, like through like you're all very, and that's what shocked me, because I saw that tweet and I was like, I've literally like never come across like something, even if someone was the writer and artist, like they still had like other people they mentioned that like helped them edit it, or a colorist or something, or like a flatter or something, like there was always someone else mentioned, or even like thanks mom and dad, something. Like, I've never seen like one person who was like, I am God and I did everything. On the 7th day I said fuck you, back my Kickstarter. Like, I never saw that. So that tweet was kind of shocking.
Yeah, and I was trying to figure out the context, and I didn't know if it was just like maybe they just come across something that was just, so I don't know, but I didn't want to respond to it, because I was like, the last thing I want to do is go, oh, hey, well, I do it, so come back.
Yeah. That's like the only way to respond to it. And so,
I know.
Like, they're like, oh, I do it.
I feel like bad enough asking people to back my damn book. I don't want to sit there and be that guy, so.
Right? Yeah, like, oh man, like, God forbid you bitch on the internet, right? It's I guess it's different when you have an audience, right? Like when a lot of people like get to know your name, and you have like an outlet, whether it be like a comic or a show or a press or whatever, and then you say something, and then people remind you, they're like, like a lot of people are reading this, and you're like, well, fuck, sorry, I forgot I had a bad day. But like, it's, it just gets weird. Like, we all want that attention. We all want to build our audiences. Like, I want to build my audience, like for my brand and my podcast and my shows. Like, you guys want more readers, right? You want to bring more creatives like under the umbrella of the publishing houses that you guys are building up on Kickstarter, and or whatever you're doing, or get you excited for the next project, right? Or like, lure you in one way or another. And so, do you guys ever like run into trouble with that? Like, especially now, like, well, I guess I say now, but like, now, right now the news is hot, right? But we deal with these issues like every year throughout the year. But like, do you ever want to like get mad at the world, or even one little asshole who pissed you off online, and you have to like remind yourselves like to reel it in and be like, oh, I can't do, like, because like it's hard for me, guys. Like, I used to be a bouncer, right? I used to get paid money to get drunk while I worked. Well, I wasn't supposed to, but I did. But I get drunk and if a dude did something, I walk up to him and be like, hey, listen here, you little motherfucker, you're gonna get out of here, I'm gonna hurt you. And 7, 8 times out of 10, they'd be like, okay, I'll leave. Sometimes they didn't. You had to toss them around a little bit, and like, but you can't do that anymore, right? Like, I'm trying to be like everybody's fucking nerd friend, right? And I can't be like, listen here, I'm gonna fucking grab you by the throat and drag you out the door and fucking throw you outside, you little shit. Like, I used to be like, I used to just pick up little college kids over my shoulder, man, carry them out and set them down. You know, if you pick up a man and carry him out of a bar in front of people and you set him down and you're like, I'm setting you down now. Are you going to be okay? And, you know, like they're usually like, yeah, I'll leave. I'm sorry. You know, like you usually like you win that fight. You're like, dude, I just fucking carried you out of this bar. Like, don't make me work harder than I have to. But it's harder now, right? Like I have to remember, like, you're not Bouncer Blake anymore. You're Blake's Buzz. Like you gotta be happy. You gotta be happy.
Have you tried like
comics.
have you tried
No.
have you tried kickboxing by any chance?
Right.
No,
Just some kind of
I really think like some kickboxing, maybe just some traditional boxing or something like that. Get in a ring where you can
go
beat
for a walk. Like leave
that's
your
mine.
house,
I go for a walk. Sounds like you might need to beat the crap out of somebody. A mutual ass kicking, but in a competitive, positive environment. I don't know.
No, I probably should. I mean, it would be good for me, you know. Like I'm a wide man. You know, I have a girthy stroll about me. Yeah, but no, I mean, I'm not like angry, but it's just different. Like, you know, like for 7 years that was my life, and then I went to like the office world, and then like a couple years after office world, I launched like the podcast deal, and so yeah, like so, but you know, sometimes I want to like stand up against the assholes, right? Like sometimes I want to like yell at somebody for being a prick. And then sometimes like I get like worked up and I'm like, he wasn't like a super prick. He was just like a medium prick. We don't need to get like all worked up. But yeah, I still struggle with that, with like putting out content and trying to like be me online, right? And I mean, I know other people struggle with it too, but I mean, I don't I don't see a lot of Kickstarter guys like coming out swinging, even when like the dark side of the internet comes for them or something, right? Like everybody's always feels like everybody's always so much more calm than I am. I don't know what I'm doing, man. Like I get high sometimes. I drink, you know, it's like, it's legal here. It's okay. I can talk about it. It's fine. You know, maybe it's, you know, sorry guys.
No, it's okay. I think there's two sort of like ways of going about social media though, right? Like you can be like yourself, which I think a lot of people appreciate. And so that comes with the ups and downs of, you know, people loving you, and then, you know, you going off on somebody that you don't like, right? But then there's also the more I guess like sterile sort of view of it, where you're just like keeping yourself distant from all the drama and trying to, you know, hit as many audiences as possible. And there's pros and cons to both. And I mean, I'm sure we've all like tweeted something and gone back and deleted it. Like I've definitely rage tweeted at somebody.
I'm the king of deleting tweets. But Chris, you're really good at like you've embraced this new, very positive, encouraging. You like do a couple tweets a day where you just kind of remind people like don't be an asshole. Here's, you know, get your comic out there kind of tweets, you know, and like you do that a couple times a day. They're very well received. You know, it's nice to see. It's good positivity. But even then, like, I mean, is that hard to do some days, man? Like when you just want to burn it all to the ground. And I'm not talking about like Bouncer Blake, and I'm not talking about Coach Robert, and I'm not talking about fucking Charlie busting out 500 squats or whatever you do to fucking look that good. Fucking ridiculous bastard. But you know, like right there we're in another hard time of the country, right? And like the news is hard and life is hard, and it's hard seeing this commentary. You can't even fucking watch Star Wars. You can't even fucking watch Obi-Wan Kenobi without fucking like getting a whole bunch of people's like dirty rotten shit smeared on your screen, it seems like. And does that get hard for you guys, like when you're trying to release comics and like simultaneously like you have to be online, like you have to be out there and reminding people to get your shit and just dealing with the toxicity, I guess.
Well,
like, how do you deal with that?
I'll tell you one thing, that's where Kickstarter helps. You know, Kickstarter is a platform where I get to help people. You know, I get to help people. I get to support them. I get to, Kickstarter, half of it for me is getting unique comics and personal stories and all that kind of stuff. But I like helping getting people across a funding goal, and so they can make their book. And that's like a big thing for me, that just on a base, like human level, it's something that it's important to me, as being a part of the Kickstarter community. And so that it makes me feel good. It makes me develop relationships with other people that are doing the same kind of weird stuff that I'm doing, like telling stories and collaborating with artists and not being afraid to put stuff out there and being brave. I'm all about that. And like, that is, so for me, I don't Kickstarter and talking with people on Twitter, and there's like a base level of positivity that where I come from. And that's a huge draw for me. And so that's why, like, I'm a Kickstarter comic guy. Like that's where I get my comics. And part of it is because I can have that shared positive experience with a whole bunch of people. So
it's not a competition. That's what I love about it. Like, all you guys have live campaigns going on right now, but like,
and all of us are backers of somebody else's, and most of us are probably backers of others, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and like you guys being on the same show simultaneously, and you guys like being like, oh, your campaign sounds cool too. Like, that's not, you're not like hurting each other by getting excited about it. That's what I love about Kickstarter. I know a lot of people don't like the wait. And, especially now with the printing delays, things are taking longer, and it is what it is. Like, I feel like most people that back Kickstarter are buying a lot of other comics simultaneously, because you got to kind of be in the know to be into Kickstarter. And if you're buying Kickstarter comics, then you probably know what other comics are hot, and you're fucking buying shit a lot. Right. So like, if I back your campaign and it goes 2 months longer for me to get my comic book, I got shit to read, man. Right. I got a fucking pile of shit.
18 points is tall from Kickstarter that I still got to catch up on.
Right. Yeah. So like, it's not gonna kill me if your campaign takes longer to fulfill. Right. And but yeah, I don't know, man. It's just weird. Like, it's just a weird world. And
I got these this week.
What are we doing with that? What's the second one? Okay.
This looks so dope. Valkyrie Sinclair. I love that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
I feel like I should be getting my copy of that soon.
That's not even. Yeah. Oh,
that's when. See, Valkyrie? this is what I do. Yeah. Like, I get poor.
Royal Oakwood.
And I can't afford to like back all the Kickstarters, and then I start seeing you guys post about them when they come in the mail, and then I fucking send the creator a message. I'm like, oh, you got an extra one I can buy real quick? Like, sorry.
Yeah.
They usually do though. So like,
very good. Yeah.
Kickstarter secret. If you guys are ever broke and can't afford to back something when it ends, like just keep an eye on fulfillment and message that creator, because I guarantee you they bought a few extra. And they probably won't get super mad if you want to buy one after the fact. That's just my experience. Sorry if I'm wrong. Sorry if I just like threw everyone under the bus there, but that's what I feel.
Look, I've actually just paid for a new website update that I have a local company doing, a whole rebranding of my website just for that reason, Blake. So as soon as the last book of the initial wave, and I say initial wave because there's always somebody who didn't fill out their surveys, but as long as like, dude, I'm not kidding. I just got one from issue 1, which
I know you're not kidding.
It was last freaking year. Somebody completed their survey. I was like, God. Okay. At least
sorry about that. That was me. Sorry.
It was you. That's okay.
I try and fill out my survey so fast because I don't want to be that asshole.
But I know,
like, the absolute fear. I've had my credit card bounce like a couple times, and I felt so bad. But like, I fixed it in a day. Like, it wasn't like I didn't fix it 2 weeks later. I fixed it in a day. But like, the absolute fear is being that asshole when your credit card bounces, or being that asshole and you don't fill out your survey. Like, when I get that survey email, dude, my day stops.
Trash, man. They don't even see them, and so it's not. I don't blame anybody. I always joke about it, but it's not. I don't have a problem with it. And I do usually order enough because what I do is like to stock what I was, like I stock my website, and so I haven't even put issue 2 on there, but we're gonna rebrand and do the whole thing, and then as soon as that last one hits the mailbox for issue 3 of the initial wave, we'll call them. I'll post it on my website, and I'll have issue 1, 2, and 3 available for purchase after the fact. It
Nice.
It's just another way to keep people interested, and somebody's going to talk about it. Somebody's going to say, "Hey, have you guys read, Turner Family Terrors?" I mean, like, oh my God, you haven't read that? Here's the website, and they're going to go there and they'll buy Robert's book, and they'll see Robert wrote other stuff and go, "Oh shit, this is really cool."
Hold on though. Time out. You haven't read Turner Family Terrors yet? Like, drop a pull quote, Robert.
Here we go. I was just pulling this out. I was wondering if we were going to get to this.
Man, come on.
All right, so we got some fresh stuff from the Buzz man himself, Blake Buzz. Okay, here we go. I used to go to church every Sunday, but since reading Robert Krisch's Turner Family Terrors, I've gotten back to day drinking and distancing myself from family.
That's the one.
That's the one. That's the one. Screwed up the ending there. Let's just go through a few more of these. If you were a fan of the Russian Facebook shenanigans, wait till you see what the Russians do to the Turners. They won't be influencing any elections, but you just might wake up naked on a park bench with nothing but issue 3 to cover your lovelies, while dog walkers and joggers throw you judging glances. It's that kind of weird, baby.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Man, I'm a good pull quoter.
Okay, here we go. Here's another one. All right. Turner Family Terrors has the charm of a 90s family sitcom and the unyielding morbidity of an antichrist's secret thoughts. It's weird, raunchy, and you'll feel a little dirty for enjoying it as much as you did.
It's true. That's true.
Stuff.
It reminds me of Step by Step sometimes. I don't know why. Like that's the family show that because they had a lot of drama in Step by Step. I feel like not like stealing possessed artifacts from like a museum and like your father-in-law's a fucking crooked like international thief kind of drama, but they had big drama in Step by Step. I feel like.
Yeah.
Anyways, anybody who needs a pull quote, holler at your boy. That's my new deal now. I'm trying to get my name on comics. You can go buy By the Horns. The new issue of By the Horns is in comic shop, starting to trickle in right now, and I'm on the fucking cover. Like they put me on the cover of Scout Book. So like,
nice.
Let's party. Let's get weird. Like put me on your comic, it'll sell.
You're on so many.
That's a lie. That's such a lie. But like, I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna ride that to town.
You're on so many covers you don't even know. I emailed you and said that I saw your quote on the back of Stephen Prince's latest Monster Matador. And what did you email me back? Or like,
I was like, what? I was like, I had to go. I went inside and found the Matador package because I got like the back issues of Monster Matador, and so like he sent me like all this shit, and I pull out the new Matador and I flip over on the back, and I have a pull quote on the back of this comic. I didn't even know that I was like, holy shit, what? Like no one, he never told me. He was like, oh man, thanks for writing that review. That was awesome. And like he didn't tell me. It was like print me on the back of a comic. Like, all right. I'm trying to get him hopefully in the next couple of weeks. We're gonna have a talk too, because I love Monster Matador and want to talk more about it. Yeah, shout out to Stephen Prince, you crazy bastard.
Love that guy.
He's a good guy.
But yeah, it's let me tell you guys something. I never thought that this would be a thing. I loved comic books, right? And I loved them as a kid, and then high school and early college, I just wanted to party all the time and didn't care about reading anything, right? And then I got back into reading, and then I found my way back into comics, and that's when I started collecting Grant Morrison's Bat Saga. I like bought all the hardcovers, and that's when I turned into a fucking hardcover snob, and I'll never make that money back, guarantee you. Like I loved it, but like I will buy extra. I'll spend extra money for hardcovers. Like it'll just happen. I have to do it. If all you guys were like, you can get volume 1 for $35 early bird special, or $48 shipped if you want the hardcover. I'm going to back your fucking hardcover. I'm going to pay that money. I can't not do it. I'm addicted.
So what we heard, Blake, is you like it hard. Got it. Okay.
I like it hard. I like it hard. I like it thorough. And I like it. I like it. Yeah. I need it. I need a girthy, hard sensation to just get me in the mood. Is basically what happens on Blake Buds. We got girthy, hard things, but that's a joke. That's I'll still, if you guys got your trade paperbacks, right? I'll caress them, keep them in the right way, put them on the shelf. They'll be in a good place. It's fine. It's fine if you didn't go hardback. We can do it. We can still do it. We can make it happen. We can finish successfully. I'll let you take that meaning however you want it to be. But no, yes, I do. I like collected editions. I'm actually thinking of redoing Blake's Buds. Well, and I say this, I'm going to say I'm rethinking things, but I'm still gonna review single issues and one shots and Kickstarter stuff. But my Substack, I would like to actually start doing more reviews of trades and collections, and just because it's hard, man. There's a lot of outlets that have other people working with them, and I suck and everybody hates me. And so no one wants to work with me. And it's me, I don't think people really think that, but it is just me. And so it's hard to try and stay up to date with current comics and commentate on them. Cause it's just if I could figure out a way to do it without having a day job, we could do it. But guess what? We got to have that fucking day job, even though I hate it. I hate it so much, guys. No, anyway, but we have to have that part, and that takes up a lot of my day. So, but yeah, I am thinking of, I'm thinking of moving to more of a trade paperback review policy where, before the collection comes out, and that works too. Cause I'm on a lot of press lists. So I get these issues monthly, right? So I can organize them, and then I can be before the Closet trade paperback comes out, or whatever the hot new trade paperback is, I have these issues that I've collected as this, these press people have emailed me things, and then I can drop them. But again, if I still want to cover Kickstarter and do stuff like that, that part is still going to be I'm at the mercy of you guys, which sucks, but no, I'm just kidding. But but I am thinking of that just as a reviewer, as someone who as you guys know, I don't know how to fucking shut up, and I talk a lot. And it's just if I have a whole trade, if I have 4, 5, 6 issues to talk about, that's easier to write about, man. I can get a little more in depth. I can get a little more weird. I can get a little more into it. And I've found out from doing this that yes, with traditional publishing, your single issues, that purchase, that head count helps, right? They want you to buy these, but also even if the issues sell okay, if you're waiting on a volume 2, a lot of times they'll tell you hey, we're going to wait and see how volume 1 sells. So even if your issue does okay, that trade paperback, they're looking at those sales too, on top of your individual sales. So if I was one of the few people commentating on these collections and saying, hey, this trade paperback is worth picking up, that can still help. And I used to think that wasn't the case, but the more I talk to you fucking weirdos, the more I learn about this industry, and you guys you're giving me all the little tidbits I need, right, to figure out what's going on. Anyway, sorry, this isn't about me. It's about you guys. We're here to talk about your comics.
One thing that's been fun this time around is sending out. So now I have 3 issues that are done. So it's 80 plus pages. Yeah. And so that's been cool to send it to you. And I sent it to David Schrader a couple months ago. He was very nice to give me a pull quote, but it was interesting. He said that he was waiting to read the whole thing, and he read basically 80 plus pages. And it reminded me, I was kind of oh yeah, well, that's sort of one of the first times someone has just sat down and just gone through almost my entire story. Wow. And so, and to get his positive feedback from that was really encouraging. But But yeah, it's just great to kind of be a little bit further along and having done a few of these. And I actually sold my about 20 minutes before I came on. I have one tier where I have the Nightmare Theater 2 anthology.
I'm waiting for those.
That I have a short story. I have a Turner Family Terrors short story in there, and I put just 5 books along with the 3 Turner Family Terrors floppies. So there's a tier where you can get every single thing that Turner Family Terrors is in print. And we sold our first one tonight, and so I sold my first anthology. So I'm stoked about that. And so shout out to Clay Adams and David Schrader and those guys.
I talked to Clay last week, and I'm very excited about Turner or not. Well, I'm excited about Turner Family, but I also knew you had a short in that. But that was one of the first. So I'm always all right. So like I'm a dirty old man, basically. Like I'm 36, right? Like I'm getting older, and I'm a sucker for like the pinup variants. And like on Kickstarter now, like we have surpassed the pinup variants into just like straight free titty on a comic cover, right? And like, and there's so many times where I'm like, I'm not gonna do it, dude.
You did it?
No, I couldn't afford it. I couldn't. I got because I had to get issue. I missed volume 1 of Nightmare Theater, so like I was needing 1 and 2, and I really wanted the After Midnight cover, and it just like the price. The price.
I got one.
It hurt. Yeah,
I got one of those.
But it was also that was also like the best After Midnight / Not Safe for Work cover.
Yeah.
Like, and they had 2 versions. They had one, and this is what I love about I can't remember the artist, but like
Emmanuel Taglietti or something like
Taglietti,
that.
yeah. So I'm talking like borderline Alex Ross level. Real.
It was beautiful.
Realism, like absolutely gorgeous. And then he had 2 versions of it. There's 2 versions of this cover.
Yeah.
One of them is 2 vampires in lingerie, 2 beautiful women like feeding on each other. And then he like went to town on their lingerie. Like he spent a lot of extra time like on the lacing and stuff. Like it was very well done. And then there's this other version where like none of that lingerie is there, and it's just like the titties are out, right? There's like titties and blood and hot vampire ladies. And I'm trying to pull it up. Well, not the bad one, but the
that so he drew that one first. So the naked one is the one he drew, and then Clay had to pay him extra money to come up with the second one.
So Clay paid him extra.
Clay paid him extra to have one with lingerie, and that's the one that I bought a whole bunch of. I have this like Safe for Work or like.
So this is part of it. They used it as a Kickstarter cover.
Feel to it, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wait, we need to go into the campaign version here. All right, hold on. But so yeah, like this new, and this is the one that I got. I got
Alex or McCormack.
Alex McCormack's, yeah. He did the SOS with Rich for
another awesome
for
one.
All right, so this is the regular cover.
Yeah.
Right? So like the lingerie, he spent a lot of, there's like wrinkles in the lingerie, there's shadowing, there's lace,
it's gorgeous, man.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And now I'm absolutely regretting like all my life situations here that have led me to this point that I don't have this fucking cover. I fucked up. And that was like the first time I talked to Clay. I like sent him a message, and I was like, hey man, like I really want to. I tried to send Clay a message where I was like, hey, I'm trying to like do a special tier for me, and it was a little too close to the end of the campaign, so he didn't get back to me soon enough. So I just like went ahead and did it. But yeah, then he.
Well, you were in luck, my friend, because guess what is an add-on for the Turner Family Terrors Kickstarter?
No, it's not. Is it really?
I have 5 copies of that specific cover of Nightmare Theater that is available on the current Turner
God
Family
damn it.
Terrors. So
Kevin and Will are supposed to cost me money. This show isn't supposed to cost me money. Fuck. Well, on that note, like, have you guys? What are your guys' thoughts on the titty variants? And as we've shown, like, they're not all cheesy. Like, some are pretty well done, but that's like a new Kickstarter deal. These not safe for work covers, these nudie covers, like they're becoming more and more popular. And I don't know if I get it. I mean, I'm sure I'm obviously people back them because like that they keep giving them an option, right?
Yeah.
It's not my jam. The nudity is not my thing. Like
like Chris, I don't feel like Chris's. I don't feel like it would fit. Like if you had this like priestess variant, like I don't know, it would be different.
It would be a little but when it works, like when it makes sense, I think it works and it's a good option. I don't have like a super horny variant coming out, but for one of my next books, there is like a mildly horny variant, which is I think it's definitely the way to go. I mean, people like it.
I like the mildly horny. Like you need to name that's the tier name. Like you get cover A, you can get cover B, you can get mildly horny variant C.
I love that. That's
exactly.
Great.
Well, the whole book honestly, a lot of my books are mildly horny, but that whole book is definitely mildly horny. So, but
that's right. Yeah, you do have a sex scene in
there's
Saturn Effect.
There's a little bit, and that's just because we're all human, right? So I think it makes sense to like have that sort of variant. If it makes sense for your campaign and for your book, and if people want it, I don't generally buy them myself just because like.
They're expensive.
They're expensive. Yeah, they're super expensive. And then I sometimes honestly I forget like what I do end up backing, and like I'll like open up packages and like in front of my mom and pull out like I had this one book that was like blatantly just a very horny book. It was super cool how it came out, but it was definitely hyper raunchy. And I was just like opening it mindlessly in front of my parents, and they were just like, "Dude, what the fuck are you doing with all your money right now?" It's like I'm burning it on the horny shit on Kickstarter. But I think it's a good option.
I'm trying to save indie comics, Mom.
Exactly. And I think
we need a T-shirt and a bumper sticker of that. I'm trying to save indie comics, Mom.
Right, just like big old titties.
That's gonna be my Kickstarter. Blake never wrote a comic book. Yeah. He just kickstarted that, trying to save indie comics, Mom. Titty bumper sticker.
I mean, I'd buy the bumper sticker. But I think as long as people are putting money into the scene, like regardless of what they're buying, it's all for the best, right? And if horny variants or not safe for work variants or whatever we want to call them. Is like the way for people to start like buying more indie comics and like training their brain to be like, okay, I'm okay with spending $20, $30, $40, $50 on something like that. I think that's it's all for the best for all.
Yeah, you do it. Yeah, you do it. Fucking A, you do it. I mean, shit. If I was gonna put out a comic, if I'm like, all right, I'm gonna put out cover A to cover B. I'm gonna charge the same for those. Or I'm going to do this cover C and there's nipples on it, and I'm going to charge you $25 extra and I'll sign it. Right. Well, I'd sign all of them, but like, I'm going to charge you like $25 extra for this like full blown nude variant of a random like comic that it probably doesn't even make sense. Like two magicians trying to save the world. But then we got this like random nude variant. Right. Or like, two heroes trying to jump through portals and save the universe, but we got this random walk-in sex variant of a heroine that we dropped into on one of like Charlie's on a random panel of Charlie's, who she actually saves the day, and then she saves the day again. Actually, I guess if we think about it, but and Robert actually gives us some sex. We get some borderline. We get some. No, there's no nudity, There's some protrusions and some alien weirdness in Robert's book. So I guess all you guys have embraced, not on the cover at least, but you guys are getting a little fucking weird on the interiors. Apparently, you all got that in common.
Issue 3 was fun for me because I got to play around with a little bit of sexiness. Like I wanted to mess around with the whole like National Lampoon's Vacation, like the Christy Brinkley type of thing, seducing Chevy Chase. So in issue 3, I get to play with that. I get to have our sexy Russian villainess get to roofie our hopeless dad and throw him on the bed, and then other crazy stuff happens. But I always love that tension, and so I wanted to play. Got a chance to play with that in issue 3, and I thought that was kind of fun. But you know what? No, I'm not actually there. I think there might be some naked male butt cheeks in issue 3, but there's no like.
There's definitely a severed furry
well,
cock.
it's kind of in the background.
It's shadowed.
It's kind of a shadow. It's artistic. My artist is Serbian. You know, he's like, it's artistic. But yeah.
No,
but,
I think it's good though. I think because I think good comics relate us to like our everydayness, right? And like, you know, the family aspect, the sexuality aspect, the day-to-day aspect, like these are real things. We got to talk about them sometimes, right? And you got to Chris does his, like Chris has a really important sex scene where like these two races are coming together and it's kind of like taboo, and it's like setting this precedence for like future political spin-offs of his graphic novel. So like, you know, it's fun to like to play with these where it's like in Spider-Squirrel, it's the gag, right? It's this cliche gag that we're making it our own, because the sign of good writing is to fucking take a cliche and make it better than it is, which you did in that scene, that walk-in scene, and it worked really well. And then Robert, I don't know what yours is, man. Like every time I try to go back to Robert's comic, I get lost in a flurry of abnormalcy. But there's and we don't even get the sex scene, right? But there's about to be a sex scene, and then there's some fucking alien shit that happens, and then there's like a boner joke that you guys aren't gonna see coming, right?
Don't forget
coming, pun intended.
Don't forget the monkey. There's a
monkey
in there too. So
I thought you said donkey. I was like, what is this, bachelor party?
That's the next issue.
It's cool that you got that, like your narratives, whether it's politics, gender, horror, the genre you're dealing with, whatever you guys are diving into, you're very capable of like exploiting that to your narrative and making that tell your story better, even if it's a sex scene. And comic book sex scenes are still weird, right? Like we don't really get them. Everybody thinks it's like a dirty joke, so that like so that the artist can like draw boobs, because like every great comic artist just wants to draw boobs. Like that's how you got to this point of your career. Like, yeah, I drew Spider-Man, I drew Batman, but then I got on Kickstarter and I drew this hefty pair of tits, and now I feel like I'd made it, you know, like that's what the fuck is that? But anyway, like all of you guys, and I know I've kept you almost for 2 hours, and so I appreciate you guys dealing with me, but I want to reestablish that all you guys are using elements of genre, you're using elements of the medium, and you're using elements of really strong characters that you've all created to tell very different and intriguing stories that are worth that everybody should pay for. Spider-Squirrel, like I mentioned, the fucking artwork and the choreography and the just the fucking like eye-numbing action, like you will fucking burn your eyelashes off reading this book. Like it's fucking hot to trot, and it's ready for you to turn these pages, right? Like it's good. And then Robert has this fucking family story where you're like, yeah, man, I remember when I was like hanging out with my buddy and his kids and his wife, and it was really fucking annoying. And like, what if fucking like Russian monsters were chasing us at that time? And like, what if what if I had fucking kids and like one of them was adopted and a real asshole and like loving her was a little bit hard, but like, you know, maybe she saves us from this weird moment. And what if my fucking father-in-law is just the worst person ever? Oh, good Christ. You know, like I love your interactions with the in-laws and the violence and the horror and the humor that you bring to this. And Chris, as I've mentioned before, man, like you're like socio-empathic ability to like bring in our realness of our everyday world into these sci-fi narratives. Like you guys all impress me is what I'm trying to get here. Like you guys are all telling wildly different narratives in different ways. And you all have, you're all worth checking out. And I wish you all the best, like future endeavors, new stories, you know, wrapping things up, releasing trades. I really hope people get eyes on your stories because you all deserve it. And I really also appreciate you guys coming on my show, whether it was one time or 3 times. Chris, I'll write you an apology letter. I'll do whatever you need me to do, man. I don't know, man, but I appreciate it. But all of you guys, you're so talented. You're such great storytellers. You're really good people to keep track of in the indie comic crowdfunding community. You're willing to give advice to newcomers and help them, you know, find where you guys are, where you're digging your heels in, you're finding your footing, and you're releasing some really fucking cool comics. And at the end of the day, that's all we can really hope for, right? Is you know, people know our names and or people know your names and you're releasing good comics, you know, like that's the goal. And I think you're all doing it in different ways, one way or another. And you're, you know, you're laying that pipe, right?
And scene.
It was all beautiful and sweet and magical. And then you
Right
laid the
till then. All right, guys. Again, like it's been a couple hours. This was so fun. I enjoyed talking to all of you. I'm going to go around. I just want to make sure everybody knows where to find you online and where to keep track of you. Robert, let's have you go first, bud. Like, where's a good place to keep track of you online?
You can find me on Twitter at Robert Krisch. And right now we're on the Kickstarter. Our URL is just turnerfamilyterrors.com. And we have, I think, 8 more days. We funded in 72 hours. We just before we came on, we went past our 3rd stretch goal. So we got another stretch goal that I got to come up with tonight and post. And I think I know what it is.
part. Yeah.
I'll announce it right now. Okay. So our 4th stretch goal is going to be 7 bonus pages from issue 4. Those 7 pages that we've already have drawn. If we get to the 6,000 mark, which will be a 200% funding, that's going to go a long ways towards funding the artwork for issue 4. And so 7 pages are done, and we're going to send that along with the digital for this campaign. And we have another week, and we're gonna finish strong, you know. And thanks again. It's great meeting you guys. I've been a fan of Charlie's for a while. It's great to meet Chris. And I first contacted Blake a year ago, my last campaign, and it's been really nice to keep
on the show. What an ass. Yeah.
So maybe I'll be back for 2 or 3 rounds at some point. But turnerfamilyterrors.com. Check it out. And that's my deal.
Definitely. Sorry it took a year. Way to throw me under the bus. Fuck. Actually, and I'll throw you back under the bus because I really like Turner Family Terrors number 1. And I messaged him to see if he when he launched campaign 2, I was like, hey, do you want to throw me a review copy? But I was actually brand new and I just launched my blog. So I don't know if I would have necessarily just been yeah, here's a PDF, friend. Who the fuck are you?
Well, guess what, dude? That was Turner Family Terrors number 1. That was the first one for me too, dude. I didn't know what the hell I was doing.
Yeah. See, so yeah. Part of
your
the
name
comics
kept-
is the clusterfuck.
Your name kept popping up, my friend. It kept.
I know, right? Like,
it kept on popping up,
which makes
So,
makes no sense. I don't know why. I don't know why you weirdos keep talking about me, but fuck, I'll take it. I'll take it. No, yeah, everybody back Turn of the Family Terrors right now. It's fucking fun. It's hilarious. It's ridiculous. It's everything you want in a comic. If you like demonic families trying to figure out being a family and trying to figure out how to fight demons and aliens and whatever else comes across them, in-laws are scary. And Robert agrees with me there, even if he doesn't say it. Like, that's the point of Turn of Family Terrors is like, you don't know who your in-laws are. You better be fucking careful, folks. That's all I'm trying to say there. It better be worth it, because they may lend you on you may be wanted by the police and the devil and a handful of aliens by the end of the night if you're not careful who you're marrying, basically. But no, it is fun and bombastic, and everybody should back it. Up next, let's stop by Charlie. Charlie, where do we find you at? Where do we find your workout regimen? Like, teach us how to be pretty nerds.
It's funny. I think this is the first podcast that got all the way to the end before somebody asked me about American Ninja Warrior, and you didn't even ask that, so that's good.
Were you on American Ninja Warrior?
Yeah, season 10.
Fuck, ladies and gentlemen, this is why I'm a terrible podcast host.
Bearing the lead, man. What's up with that?
Oh. It's actually funny. That's actually kind of how Spider-Squirrel was born. And you know, because I've talked about the book being semi-autobiographical. So like you do with TFT, I take real incidents of my life, and then I go, well, let's twist them all to comic book hell and make them fun, you know, and so some of that stuff is like loosely based on, and some of the girls that he dates in there are actually modeled after ex-girlfriends, and they know that. My wife knows too. They're all fine. So it's fun. But yeah, that's where it started, was American Ninja Warrior. So, true fun fact, Andy Smith did, I've known Andy for almost, over a quarter century now. And he did, American Ninja Warrior wanted some comic book panels of my life, you know, and I was like, okay. And so he drew these panels of my life, which never made the show, but whatever. So I still have them. They're big ass prints. Anyway, you can find me all over the place. I'm pretty ubiquitous. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I have a TikTok. I just don't use it because I'm like 47 years old, and old men don't know how to use TikTok.
We get lost there, man. It's a weird place.
Yeah, I think I have like a salmon ladder video on there or something. I don't know. Yeah, and it's over here. So at Charlie McElvy on Twitter, Instagram, pretty much anywhere, like I said. And I mean, and I'm what you see is what you get. There's no secrets to me. I'm just this crazy, silly, happy-go-lucky squirrel, psychotic weirdo, dad of many kids and husband of one wife, and she's hot as hell, which is why I have so many kids. So
the dangers of marriage.
So so Spider-Squirrel is wrapping up with this last campaign. It's at www.spidersquirrel.com, just jammed all together as one word. And that'll take you to all my Spider-Squirrel campaigns going forward. But we've got a lot in store, as we talked about earlier, for you guys. So just watch Spider-Squirrel, but there's a ton more coming. And if you don't like silly, fun, blah ha ha, Blue Beetle, Booster Gold, Archer and Armstrong kind of books, which is what Spider-Squirrel kind of is, stay for the ride, because we'll have some more serious books. We'll have family-oriented books. I'm actually working on an all-ages anthology. So Spider-Squirrel and Friends, done for not just kids, for adults who like fun, cute, quirky, chibi-style fun art. I mean, it's again, jump on the train, stay on the ride, and I promise you'll have fun somewhere along the way.
I can agree, because I had so much fun reading issues 1 and 2. I've also just had fun getting to know Charlie online. He's very nice to his fans. He's very talkative online. He's very chill, and he doesn't like drop like hot takes that make you want to fucking like eat yourself from the inside out. And he doesn't fucking like hate people for being people. And he's a good dude. He's a good dude with a hot wife and a bunch of kids. You heard it here, ladies and gentlemen. Like he's living the dream. He's got a giant fucking Brady Bunch family, and he's making comic books, and he's fucking like lifting weights in his free time, and just fucking looking fucking ripped and delicious all over the internet right now.
Climbing buildings and shit.
Yeah, doing
some parkour action,
ninja warrior action all over the place. Did you win? Did you complete the course? Did
No.
Did you do it in like 10 seconds?
I had the hardest. Actually, we had that year. They said the Southeast was the hardest region rather, and I came 33rd out of 105, but only top 30 advanced. So they asked me to actually. They came to me afterwards and said, "Hey, dry off. Sorry you fell, but hey, can you go to Philly and test the course for us and help us, like establish rules and see how things work?" And I was like, "Well, yeah. I mean, what is it going to cost me?" And they're like, No, just come. I'm like, oh, well, hell yeah. So I went to go play in Philly and had a great time.
Oh, man. Well,
of course, tested in Philly and Baltimore, Atlanta, and a few other places.
You're the reason of like why you should get up in the morning and work out. Like, yeah, good things can happen, I guess, if you're healthy, or you can just like get. All right. So anyways, sorry, but that's so fucking cool, man. Like it's, the sun scares me. I have to stay inside and eat Cheetos. That's what I do. I eat Cheetos and drink moonshine and stay inside so I can keep this.
I'm a flaming hot guy. Flaming hot Cheetos are my.
Has anyone had the new jalapeno ones? There's the jalapeno cheese.
My 8-year-old loves them. Yeah, I love them too. They have a great flavor. They're not real hot.
Now I'm finally gonna try them. I every time I go to the store, I think about it. I'm like, do I get
these? They're good.
And I'm like, no. See, this is the things you learn about on Blake's Buzz, ladies and gentlemen. Like the cheddar jalapeno cheaters are Ninja Warrior approved. They can they'll get you into shape. They'll get you into fighting mode. And Charlie, man, you're such good people. I really hope I hope I didn't chase you off. And anytime when you guys are putting out your new books and stuff, I would love to. Anytime you want to come back on Blake's Buzz or whatever, man. I would love to have you. I'm excited to see the new stuff you guys are putting out under your press. It all sounds cool. The preview pages were great. You guys have a wonderful team of artists. Everybody should go fucking back this book. If you like superheroes. If you like superhero comics from the 90s to the 2002s or so, or even current, I'm still saying it. If you flip through issue 1 of Charlie's comic, it looks better than a lot of big 2 books out right now. I don't know where he found these artists and how many goats they sacrificed or whatever they did. He's got a really great looking comic book that is just it's fun and fast paced and it's ready to suck your eyeballs in. You guys should go back that. And last but not least, 3-time Blake's Buzz survivor, Chris Moses. Volume 1 of Saturn Effect is on Kickstarter. Saturn Effect Alpha is out right now. And it's gonna be a 4-page trade. It's gonna be the issues are oversized, so it's the 4 issues kind of equates to about a 6. Let's say, I don't know why I keep doing this with my hands, guys. I've never done this before. 4 to 6 issues. It's great sci-fi. We're karate chopping our way to success. No, I don't know, man, but I love Saturn Effect. I love the spinoff. I love your web comic. I love you. You're just a great person, dude. I always enjoy talking to you. I really I think a lot of people. Just seeing how you talk to potential fans and stuff online and your excitement to get your comic book out there, the game that we're going to be getting in a few months or so, I'm so excited about. I'm just excited that I'm glad that you're in a position to tell these stories you want to tell, because I believe in these stories that you got in you, buddy. They're great and they're high paced and you're one of those few people when when those fucking when those fucking neck bearded fucking weirdos come out of the fucking ground like zombies and fucking grab at your ankles and they pull at you and they're like, I don't want politics in my comics, and they're trying to like pull you underneath the earth, dude. You're one of the main fuck yous to that argument, because you have this beautiful like socio-political escapade spread across planets, with really intriguing art, really intriguing characters, and it's not easy to pull off. Like, you have to be a really smart and intelligent writer to pull that off, which you are. And I just like, I'm so glad to have gotten to know you and to gotten to like read your comics as they progress and they get better and better. And like,
I appreciate that, man.
You're just a cool fucking dude, man. I'm really happy. I'm really happy you're putting out your first trade paperback, and I really hope it's the first of many. I hope we get a lot more, whether it's Saturn Effect or whether it's future series, man. Like, I hope you build a good audience to like follow you to all your endeavors, because you really deserve it. All of you do, by the way. Like the three, again, like, I'm trying not to kiss. I want to kiss everyone's ass equally. Right, I want to be there for all your assholes.
We really appreciate that.
Yeah,
but no, like,
hey,
you're all very talented.
I gotta do something, because I didn't get a pull quote from you, so I'm just gonna slap my own pull quote up here and just just tell you that, I mean, you got to start doing stuff like this. You guys see that?
When I write reviews, I always stop myself when I'm like, if you don't read this, you're a fucking dummy, because I'm always scared of like making people mad. But that's like like at the end of a review, like after I say everything and I'm like, what, how do I like wrap this up, how do I end it? And I'm like, hey, buy this book, don't be a fucking dummy. Where did he just like enter his own like whirlpool of social media and eat himself? Oh, he's back. All right.
Hey, my excuse is after midnight here, so I'm brain dead. I hit the wrong damn red button.
Well, no, so I know it's late again, and I know I'm a verbose bastard. I'll keep talking, but like, Chris, where again, like, I love your comics and I love your show, and like, where do we keep track of you? Where's a good place to follow you at?
So you can follow me on Twitter at @rchrismoses. You could also follow me on Instagram at Red Sea Comics, at the Saturn Effect. We actually just passed 4,000 followers on Instagram, and we actually have a draw this in your style that's being run right now for our main character Alpha, where you could, if you participate, you have a chance to win a cash prize and a free issue of Volume 1. So go follow us there. I also have a TikTok. I'm I'm also out of that age group. I'm 26, but I do also have a TikTok, and so we got Red Sea Comics on TikTok. We post in process pages if you want to get a close look at what issue 5 is looking like. Francesco Mazzoli's already finished all the inking on all that, so we have some process videos there for you. And yeah, the Kickstarter for the Saturn Effect Alpha Volume 1 just launched 3 days ago. So if you want to back, find us on Kickstarter. And we still have, I think there might be a little bit of time left still for the $5 off on our early bird specials. So if that's still running, head over there and get your copy today.
Fuck yeah, get that discount. Follow them on TikTok. I'm going to follow you on TikTok so that I can, like, in between like me crying when I see dog videos, I'll be like, oh, I'll be like crying, like, oh, I need to buy that comic. Fuck, oh, yeah. This dog and this duck are friends. Oh my god.
Well, there's also a process
me on
video.
TikTok.
Yeah, well, there's also a process video for that mildly horny cover. So if you were wanting to see that, you could check that out on TikTok if that's a good enough incentive.
All right. Well, yeah, everybody follow all these guys. All right, because again, I like to think that I read enough comics that I know what's pretty cool and what's not. I'm not going to say I'm fucking like God's gift to indie comics or anything, but I'm just saying, like, I get a lot of stuff. I'm on a lot of press lists and I read a lot of comics every week, and I know what stands out. And these 3 guys are standing out. These 3 guys are dropping fucking fearless narratives, and they're not afraid to do what they want to do. And that's one of the beauties of crowdfunding comics is these guys can come in, they can do what they want to do. They still have editors, they still have people cross-checking them and stuff, but they're not hindered, right? They're not buried under the weight of fucking metrics and products moved and whatever. Like, they get to tell the stories that they want to tell. And Spider-Squirrel, Turner Family Terrors, and Saturn Effect Alpha are fucking stories that you guys need in your lives, on your shelves, in your read piles. All right. You just need that. All right. I just do it. Just quit with your bullshit. Right. Like, just, like whatever. Or okay. Drink, go to Aldi's this week and buy your groceries instead of the more expensive place. All right. Like eat 80-20 ground meat instead of the 90-10, you greedy motherfuckers, and back these fucking Kickstarters because they all deserve it. They all have wonderful stories. And that's what we're here for.
Fuck yeah.
We're here for good stories and for Blake to get drunk and run his mouth and say weird shit. But we're also here for good stories. Guys, this was so fun. Robert,
A lot of fun,
Chris,
man.
Charlie, like, thank you all for coming on my show. Chris has been here 3 times. As I'll say again, like, anytime you guys ever need anything, like press release, reviews, pull quotes, whatever, like, Blake's Buzz is here for you. I appreciate the work you're doing. I appreciate the way you present yourself in the indie community. And I, again, like, I really hope that you guys take that to heart, because you're good people and you let other people know how you got to this point. And more people need to know that, myself included, as someone who wants to create one day. You guys put that light at the end of the tunnel for new creatives and new voices in the community. And I appreciate you all for that. We're going to end it. I'm going to play the credits unless anybody has anything else that they want to shout out. I'm starting to get cheesy, so I got to cut it when I start getting cheesy. You guys are fucking awesome.
You're the man, Blake.
It's Blake's Buzz Live.